And welcome to the show for Saturday.
It's the Missknockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Missknockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's a Missknockout Show. Knockout Show. Hot topics, beats and the glow. You rock it with
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right. So everybody come on in. How's everybody doing today? Welcome. So we are going to get started with hot topics. Everybody share 5. What's up? D Nice is in the building. What's up, D Nice? How are you? Welcome, everybody. Good morning to you. All right. So everybody come on in. We're running on all platforms right now. We're on the Y to the Tube Z. We're on the F to the Booksies. And we're on all platforms, so you can watch it back. You can watch it back now. What's up? You good? That's what's up. That is what's up. That's what's up. All right, I'm just setting stuff up. Let's get it started. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live. We got a lot to talk about today. All right, we got more updates with the Pooh Shiesty. Gucci Man released the record. We're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about Diddy's case and how that is moving along. Hold on, y'all. And we're going to get started. So everybody tapify the room. Everybody share the room out. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Saturday? The weekend goes so quick, so let's enjoy it. All right, the weekend goes really quick, so let's enjoy it. All right, I'm just setting some stuff up here. And we're going to get it popping. What's up, everybody? All right. So everybody come on in. Welcome to the Missknockout Show. What's up, Slade Braids is in the building. What's up with you? All right, we're trying to get the sound. All right, everybody, come on in. Let's get the room filled up, and then we're going to start the show. What's up? I'm your host, Missknockout. So everybody come on in. I'm trying to get the talking going on. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. The warification is still going on strong. There's questions. A lot of questions are revolving around the man that starts with the T's, healthification. Thank you, Layla. Thank you so much, Layla. Thank you. So everybody come on in. We're trying to get this gift gallery crackling again. All right. I see everybody coming in. What's up, Slay? What's up, everybody? Monica. I see everybody coming in. Shauna. We got to share it to a couple of more people. All right. So everybody come on in. We got a lot to talk about today. The warification is still going strong. And the man that starts with a T is dazed and confused. And now, other people's getting involved in the war. And you know, it's getting hectic out here in these USA streets. Thank you. Everybody get your orange heart. Get your orange heart and let's get it popping. All right. So I'm just sharing it with some people. All right, everybody come on in. So everybody sharify it, repost it, and all that good stuff. All right. So now let's start off with some updates about Pooh Shiesty and the Kates. All right, they made some appearances. All right, then we're going to go to some more hot topics that's going on besides the war and all of that. We got more hot topics. We got a little Nancy Guthrie updates, a little bit of it. All right, not much. The case is still moving really, really slow. All right. I don't know what investigators they got on the case, but the case is moving. What's up, Andrea? What's up, Rap Diva? The case is moving really, really slow. But let's go to Pooh Shiesty and talk about Pooh Shiesty. Everybody come on in. Did you see the astronauts came back? The astronauts came back? The astronauts came back. They landed from space? Well, hell, I didn't even know the astronauts was in space. Well, we have to just look that up. The astronauts came back from space. Hold on. Let's look that up now. Okay, the astronauts came back from space. There's just so much going on. Okay, let's see. Let's see the astronauts coming back before we get down to this Pooh Shiesty court appearance. And Gucci Man got the record going on. All right. So let's see. So yes, so spaceship did return. All right. Should we do that first? Well, let's get to that first. Okay, we got a nice little Teddy Riley story coming on, coming down today. We got story time, Teddy Riley, right? So let's see. So D Nice dropped a little tidbit in here, thanks to D Nice. So let's see the splashdown. Okay, so let's go into that first. All right. So the Artemis 2 astronauts are coming back to Earth after their record-breaking 10-day mission around the moon. Okay, who heard of this? Because there's so much going on. It's so hard to keep up with everything, D-Nice. Right? Hey, baby Kim. All right, so it's called the Artemis 2. The astronauts are coming back to Earth after their record-breaking 10-day mission around the moon. And this is one that has the whole world cheering. Okay, the first crewed lunar voyage in over 50 years, and those 4 heroes splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean on when was it? Wait, hold on here. On April 10th, 2026, and let's see, the astronauts they went on a record-breaking tour of the moon. All right. And it was nail-biting re-entry every moment of the recovery, and what this means for the future of space travel. Okay, so if you're new here and you've been riding with me since day one, everybody drop a glove and some hashtags in the comments, in the chat. All right. So the Artemis 2 launched on April 1st, 2026 from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 6:35 p.m., right, on the Orion spacecraft named Integrity, where 4 incredible astronauts, NASA Commander Reed Wiseman, NASA pilot Victor Glover, NASA mission specialist Christina Koch. You got a woman on board. Canadian Space Agency mission specialist Jeremy Hansen, and the crew made history the second they left Earth. Christina Koch became the first woman to fly to the moon, and the whole team became the first humans to travel around the moon and back since the Apollo 17 on December 1972. Over the next 10 days, they flew nearly 250 miles away and swung around the far side of the moon on April 6th and captured never before seen views by human eyes and watched a total solar eclipse from space and broke records for the furthest any human has ever traveled from Earth. So they broke the record on the furthest that any human traveled from Earth. Wow, that's big. They conducted science experiments, took stunning photos of the moon and Earth and the galaxy, and shared reflections that had the whole world inspired. By flight day 9 on April 9th, the crew had already exited the lunar sphere of influence. That's the point where the Earth's gravity becomes stronger than the moon's pull. And they were on their way home. They spent the day reviewing re-entry and splashdown procedures, conducting a return trajectory, correction burn, and preparing their spacesuits. The mood on board was high. They were hugging and laughing and talking about all the pictures and stories that they were bringing back. Christina Koch said that she would miss the camaraderie the most. And Victor Glover reminded everyone that all the good stuff is coming back with us. So many more pictures, many more stories, and Commander Reed Weissman and Jerry Hansen were hyped about the science data they collected, that they will help pave the way for future moon landings and eventually Mars missions. So they plan on having these missions to go into Mars, in which they feel that, they always speculated that it was Earth on Mars because it has the closest, characteristics to the Earth, right? So April 10th, Splashdown Day, NASA started live coverage at 6:30 p.m. and the crew woke up at 10:35 a.m. that day, configured the Orion cabin for re-entry, and at 2:53 p.m., they fired the return trajectory correction burn to fine-tune their path home. At 7:33 p.m., the crew module separated from the service module, and at 7:37 p.m., they did the crew module raise burn, and by 7:53 p.m., they hit re-entry interface, and that's when the spacecraft started feeling the atmosphere at Match 32 to Match 33, traveling over 25,000 miles per hour. The heat shield had to handle temperatures up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, while the crew experienced nearly 4 Gs of force. NASA used a brand new re-entry strategy this time to reduce the wear on the heat shield after what happened on the uncrewed Artemis test flight. It was one of the most dangerous parts of the whole mission, but the crew stayed calm and professional the whole way. At exactly 8:07 p.m., 5:07 p.m. specific time, the Orient capsule splashed down perfectly into the Pacific Ocean off of the coast of San Diego, California, and the drogue parachutes deployed first at 8:03 p.m., followed by three main parachutes at 8:04 p.m., and she hit the water about 20 miles per hour. Splashdown was confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, and the crew radioed back that they were in excellent health. Wow, isn't this incredible? The USS John P. Mercer was right there waiting with Navy recovery teams, helicopters, and drivers. Within minutes, the drivers were at the capsules. They opened the side hatch around 1 hour and 5 minutes after splashdown and helped the astronauts out one by one and hoisted them into helicopters. Christina Koch and Victor Glover were the first two flown to the ship, followed by the rest of the crew. And all four were described as happy, healthy, and smiling big as they stepped onto the recovery vessel for the initial medical checks. The squad returned textbook perfect, no major issues, just pure celebration. The recovery ship took them aboard. They got a full post-mission medical evaluation, and within hours, they headed back to shore and then to Houston for more debriefs and reunions with their families. The Orion capsule itself was told to Naval Base San Diego and will eventually head back to the Kennedy Space Center for analysis. NASA called it a perfect mission and said the data from this flight is already helping them prepare for Artemis 3, which will actually land humans on the moon again. Christina Koch, who already holds the record for the longest single space flight by a woman, now adds first woman to the moon to her list. Victor Glover is the first Black astronaut to fly to the moon, and Jeremy Hansen is the first Canadian. Reed Wiseman led with the calm commander energy that we came to love. All right. So what do y'all think about that? So that's thank you, D Nice, for putting us up on the story of these astronauts making history so they can make more trips to the moon. Now, I remember when they said that the trip to the moon was fake. Who remembers that? He's going down in Black history. He surely is. That's big right there, D Nice. Who remembers when they said that landing on the moon was fake? That they showed the picture with them putting the flag down. They said it was fake. Do y'all think it's real or fake? I don't know. It might be real. And then these people went to the moon. People always got conspiracy theories. They always got conspiracy theories. All right. I would like to see some of the pictures from it, but I guess we'll circle around to it. All right. So that's what happened with the latest trip to the moon. We got all these record-breaking first woman, first Black person. So, shout out to them. All right. And that is really, really good. Yes. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to some more stories. They didn't land on the moon. They circled it. Oh, well, they circled the moon. They circled the moon, but the guy still became the first Black person to do that, and the woman still became the first woman to do that. All right? So they circled the moon. Right? But they still made history. All right, let's move on to Pooh Shiesty. All right? updates. Pooh Shiesty and his father made appearances in court along with Big 30. All right. So Gucci Man he dropped a direct diss track to Pooh Shiesty. He didn't name no names, but we knew who he was talking about. Okay. And let's get it popping. So let's talk about the appearances in court. Okay. Hold on, let me back it up. So we talked about the Diddy trial yesterday. We'll go back over that. All right. Hold on, let me try to find my notes on the Pooh Shiesty. Hold up. All right. So let's get it popping with Pooh Shiesty updates. They made their first appearance in court. Big 30, Pooh Shiesty, and Pooh Shiesty's pops. All right. So as you know, Pooh Shiesty allegedly had an altercation with Gucci Man, which all the facts will come out. Right now, it's his side, that side, and then there's the truth. Okay. And allegedly, Pooh Shiesty held Gucci Man at point, made him sign release papers to release him out of the contract, and then allegedly robbed him of his wedding ring, watch, earrings, cash. Big 30, Rodney Wright Jr. Barricade the exit and was like the watchman. Then he went and got the bag that they allegedly said that a was in. But when we got to the courtroom, ironically, they said that they didn't see any pumes, and they don't have any pumes in evidence. And I find that to be really strange. All right. So they were all arrested. All right. Pooh Shiesty, his father, Big 30, and associates that came in on the Greyhound bus were also arrested. All right. Pooh Shiesty's lawyers, Bradford Cohen, said there's a significant gap between government statements and actual evidence. There was no weapons or jewelry recovered, right? So there was no weapons or jewelry recovered, but it was said that he was robbed of all his jewelry in a Louis bag, and his wedding ring was taken. And in court, there seems to be no evidence of that. All right. So Pooh Shiesty's first court appearance, his bail was denied. All right. So let's break down Pooh Shiesty's first court appearance. Okay, hold on, y'all. Everybody keep tapping. I'm trying to pull my notes up. Okay, everybody keep tapping, keep sharing. Hey, Kim, what's up with you? I see everybody coming on in. Welcome. All right. So Pooh Shiesty, his father, Big 30, appeared to court. We're going to break down each of it. All right. Thank you, Shauna B. Thank you. Hey, Kim. What's up? TikTok user, what's up with you? Thank you for the good. Thank you, Kim. All right. So what happened at Pooh Shiesty's court case? All right. On Wednesday, April 8th, Pooh Shiesty, whose real name is Lantrell Williams Jr., had his first federal court appearance and detention bond hearing in Dallas, Texas, at the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas. And this was his initial appearance after the FBI arrested him along with 8 others between March 1st and 3rd on the federal kidnapping kidnapping and conspiracy charges tied to alleged January 10, 2026 armed takeover at a Dallas recording studio involving Gucci Mane and two other 1017 Records associates. So the U.S. Magistrate Judge Renee Harris Tolliver was the judge residing. Okay, the prosecutors presented the government's case, arguing that the evidence was strong and that Pools Shiesty's court-ordered ankle monitor data placed him at the studio. Surveillance stills showed the group entering and leaving, and cell phone records and alleged victim statements, including Gucci Mane's initial account. Okay? Including Gucci Mane's initial account. So what does that mean? Allegedly, Gucci Mane did some talking to the cops and the feds, allegedly. All right? So it was alleged that Gucci Mane was forced to sign a contract termination paper at Pum Point and robbing him of cash with Big 30 barricading the door and the crew robbing and choking the other associates. All right. FBA Special Agent Pamela Hansen testified under oath about the investigation. Okay. So now let's find out what FBI agent Pamela Hansen testified. Okay. All right. So she testified under oath. All right. And it came out that no Pum's evident jury, right? But here's the puzzling part. So how do they have footage of the session on? See, a lot of moving parts out there. It's not adding up. All right. So Pamela Hansen's testimony under oath. Okay, Pamela Henderson was the only witness called by the government during the hearing. Thank you. Everybody get your orange heart. Everybody, hey, Ika, how are you? Thank you for the orange heart. Okay, we're talking about Pools Shiesty's first appearance in court. Okay, Pamela Hansen, who was the FBI agent. Okay, so the basis of the case, Hansen walked the court through a 32-page federal criminal complaint. She said that the evidence shows Pools Shiesty was the ringleader who set up the fake business meeting at Luminous Studios in Dallas on January 10th, 2026 to force allegedly Gucci Mane Roderick Davis to sign a contract releasing him from 1017 Records. Incidentally, on Gucci Mane's new record, he says, in which I said it before when we was going through the case, that allegedly Pools Shiesty, after all of that, is still signed to his label. And why is Gucci Mane saying that Pools Shiesty is still signed to his label? Well, if you sign a contract under distress, meaning at Pum Point, it's not valid in court. So say you're signed to a record label and you don't like your contract. So you go down there and you pull your Pum out and you tell the A&R, sign my release. And the A&R is scared. It's okay. And they sign your release, right? Well, by law, that is an invalid signing of a contract. And the contract is still valid because you can't sign a contract drunkified, under duress, or being forced and coerced to sign a contract. You have to sign the contract under your own free will. And that is why I said, ouch, when Gucci Mane, and we're not going to play his record because I can't play it on YouTube, but we will play his record if I end the YouTube before the TikTok. We'll play it over here. All right? You could go listen to Gucci Mane's new record. It's called Crash Dummies, or Crash Dummy, or Crash Dummies, one of them. Right? You can go listen to his new record, and Gucci Mane will tell you everything that you need to know. Right? So Gucci Mane is smart. He put everything in the records, and you better believe the feds is going to get that record, and they're going to listen to every word of that record. Okay? Now, Hansen walked the court through a 32-page federal criminal complaint. She said the evidence shows Pooh Shiesty was the ringleader who set up the fake business meeting at the studio in Dallas on January 10th to force Gucci Mane, allegedly, to sign a contract to release him from 1017 Records. She described the alleged armed takeover, Pooh pulling an AK-style Pum Pum, forcing Gucci to sign at gun at Pum Pum point, and then proceeded to rob him, allegedly, of jewelry, watches, earrings, cash, while Big 30 barricaded the door, and the crew robbed and chokified the other victim. Gucci Mane and victim statements. She confirmed, right, the FBI agent confirmed under oath that Gucci Mane and at least two other alleged victims gave formal statements to the Dallas Police Department the same night of the incident, right after Gucci security called 911. So Gucci security called 911, and Gucci and other victims gave accounts the night of the alleged ordeal. So on that note, this is why people are calling Gucci Mane a snitch. Now, the rules go, now as far as I know, I don't think that Gucci Mane is in a gang. Gucci Mane would be, I would say he would be considered a civilian. He's married. He has a kid. He's running a label. Okay, he's not representing gang. So put a yes or no in the comments. Is he allowed to go to tell the police what happened to him? Because in our culture, we seem to punish people affiliated. He's affiliated. Well, it gets real technical. Because where I come from, that's the rule of if you're in the gang. Okay? Good, looking good. His past, the streets will not let that go. Right. His past. He's in the streets. Right? They won't let that go. And that's why they keep saying, because he talked to the cops, that they're considering that. Right? But they considered Gunner the same thing, but his record sold through the roof. So do people care about that anymore? I mean, Gucci Mane put out that record, they're eating it up like cooked food. All right? So Gucci Mane and at least two other victims gave formal statements to the Dallas Police Department the same night of the incident, right after Gucci Mane's security called 911. Now, for his security to call 911, it seems like it's some serious stuff going on. Because now you get your security calling 911. The security is supposed to be securing. The early statements to the local police are what most of the probable cause and criminal complaint are built on. Gucci and the victims have not yet been formally interviewed by the FBI. Those FBI interviews were scheduled but have not taken place by the time of the April 8th hearing. So, which means that allegedly, and everything's all alleged in Missknockout's Live, Gucci Mane spoke to the police, but he didn't speak to the FBI. Right? It's probably a reason for that, because everybody's calling him a ratification. So maybe he doesn't want to talk to the FBI now. Will he cooperate? We shall see. Do you think Gucci Mane will cooperate with this case and testify? Who thinks Gucci Mane will testify? Put a yes or no in the comments. Yes or no? I don't think I'm expecting anything, am I? Let's see. Who's ringing my bell? So I don't know. It's very questionable and very crucial on whether to and appear on stand, give a testimony, come to court. That's yet to be seen. Okay, so they haven't formally talked to the FBI. Okay, physical and digital evidence. So Pooh Shiesty's court-ordered ankle monitor placed him at the exact studio location, so he cannot say that he wasn't there. Outside surveillance stills, and they have a lot of stills showing the group entering and leaving the building. Cell phone recordings linking the defendants. Okay, so they got all their cell phone records. They got all their texts. All right. So critical admissions under cross-examinations. All right. So the FBI agent gave her account. Then they have the cross-examinations. That means the lawyers of Pooh Shiesty's lawyers get to cross-examine the FBI and challenge the government. All right. So there was no signed contract that was ever recovered. The one that Pooh Shiesty allegedly forced Gucci to sign did not surface. No video of the alleged contract signing or the inside incident exists in their possession. Big 30 was accused of recording it. Well, they found no recording of the such. No pumes were recovered. Isn't this strange? No jewelry, watch, earrings, or cash taken in the robbery was recovered. Authorities do not have the resources and did not keep continuous surveillance on Pooh Shiesty after the January incident. So what was Pooh Shiesty's reactions in court? Multiple reporters noted that Pooh visibly shook his head in disbelief several times while Hansen was testifying, especially when she described the victim statement and the gaps in physical evidence. So Pooh Shiesty was shaking his head in disagreements. All right. So the report says that there's pumes, there's a contract signed, and there's all these things going on, but yet there is no evidence of this. So what can we make of this? Well, going forward, you're going to need that evidence in court, or else it's going to jam up things, and Pooh Shiesty might get off with just a violation of his parole or whatever. Because he's probably going to get a violation of parole for being even involved in this incident. So the government case at this early stage rests almost entirely on the initial victim statement given to the Dallas police the night of the incident and not on recovered physical evidence. So They only have word of mouth on what the victims say that happened to them, but they have no physical evidence backing up any of these claims. They have no pium, they have no contract signed, and they have nothing that was filmed by Big Dirty. So it sounds like to me that somebody is telling a liification. Something ain't right and something is not adding up. Right? Something is not adding up in the melt. How could you say all this stuff happened to you and then there's no evidence? So we're going to watch all this play out in court. All right? So is Gucci Mane's and the victim's word against no physical evidence? And wow, that's going to be something else. So let's move on to so that's the update. The father initially, let's see. Hold on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. So what happened to Pooh Shiesty and Big 30? So Pooh Shiesty is still on lockdown. Okay, so he's still on lockdown. Big 30 did get a bonded out. I don't know if he out. Big 30 had very little of a record, of a prior record, right? So that's going to factor in for him really good. All right. So let's see what happened to Pooh Shiesty's father in court. Okay, hold on. So let's see. So the court date was April 3rd, and Memphis federal court, they moved him back to federal. All right. So this is Lontrell Williams Sr., which is Pooh Shiesty's father. His father appeared in court. Prosecutors presented the same evidence package used against the whole group, victim statements from Gucci Mane and two associates, Pooh Shiesty's ankle monitor, surveillance stills, and cell phone records. The defense attorneys for Williams Sr. argued that the evidence had major gaps. There were no pums recovered, no jewelry recovered, and no evidence of a signed contract recovered, right? No inside video. All right. The judge found probable cause to move the case forward, but ruled that Williams Sr. was not a high enough flight risk or danger to justify detention, right? So he was granted a $250,000 bond, and he only had to pay 25. Well, not only he had to pay, they got it though, 25,000 cash deposit. The conditions of his bond was strict home incarceration, the strictest form of pretrial release, shorter custody, electronic monitoring, meaning that he will have an ankle monitor on him too, and he's only allowed to leave home for court appearances in Dallas, Texas. No contact with victims or co-defendants. So that means he probably can't talk to his own son. All right. So they want to stop them from collaborating, talking on the phone, trying to get their story together. Right? So he's on the ankle monitor. All right. This was a partial win for the defense, unlike Pooh Shiesty, who was denied bond entirely on April 8th in Dallas, and his father was released from the Memphis jail. So the father is free. All right. So the judge ordered him transferred to Texas custody while the revocation motion was reviewed. So while his everything was reviewed, he was then moved to Texas custody, right? Current status as of April 11th, which is today, he is still in federal custody, but in Texas. So the Memphis courts released him, but he was extradited to custody in Texas, right? And the stay is in effect. The government must file its formal motion to revoke the bond by April 13th. So they might revoke his bond in Texas. The defense has till April 20th to respond. A Texas judge will then decide whether to keep him locked or let him go on strict house arrest. All right. So that's the father. Okay. So now what happened to Big 30? Okay. Let's pull up Big 30's details. All right. Everybody keep tapping, keep sharing. All right. Come on in. Thank you for the 13K. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Sammy, what's up with everybody? I see everybody coming in. I'm not ignoring you. Put us something in the comments if you want me to say hi. What's up, Sammy? What's up, Charlene? What's up, everybody? Come on in. All right. So let's talk about Big 30 and his current status. Okay. And we're going to move on. Okay. We got the Teddy Riley story time today. So it's the weekend, right? You what's up? Hey, Sammy, you what's up? So what's Big 30's current status? So we're talking about the Pooh Shiesty case. Okay, we went through each of them, each of their court dates, each of their statuses. And what was Big 30? So his name is White, a junior. All right, he made his appearance in court. All right. And let's see what happened with Big 30. All right. So Big 30, whose real name is Rodney Wright Jr., had his federal detention bond hearing in Memphis, Tennessee on Monday, April 6th. This was part of the same case as Pooh Shiesty and his father and 6 others charged with federal kidnapping and conspiracy tied to the alleged January 10th, 2026 arrest takeover at the Dallas studio involving Gucci Mane. So the prosecutors presented the government's evidence, victim statements, including Gucci Mane's initial report to Dallas PD the night of the incident, Pooh's ankle monitor data, surveillance stills of the group's cell phone records. They accused Big 30 of barricading the only exit so no one could leave during the alleged robbery. Thank you so much, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Flower Power. Welcome in, everybody. Everybody get your orange heart. Keep tapping over here. And everybody that's on the wide to the tubesy. Thank you, Meecha. Hey. Thank you so much, Meecha. And good morning, Almac Life. Hey, what's up, short-sighted? How you doing, short-sighted? Hey, Miguel. What's up? What's up? So, the trolls are out in full effect. Just so you know, I give less than an F on what you're saying over here if you're talking crazy. You know how they talk crazy. Once you put yourself on YouTube, you open yourself up to all the trolls. They come in, all right? So, since I look so scary, you get out of here. Let's see. Get out of here. All right? This person is asking, do I got diabetes? Okay, you're trying to be smart. This is the dumb stuff that they say. All right, so let's keep on with the commentary. What's up, everybody on the Wide to the Tubesy? Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, all right, so we can push it out, so we can push the video out. Come on in, everybody. Let's see how many people we got over here watching. So everybody come on in. You know, the Y to the Tubesy gets crazy. But you know me. I got a skin as tough as leather. Tough as leather. So you do me now. But I will block it. So hold on, I want to check and see how many people's watching. Let's move on to Big 30. Everybody come on in. Everybody tap a five. Everybody share a five. Everybody like a five. And everybody bless a five, Missknockout, so she won't be broke a five. Alrighty, and what happened with him in court. All right. So he appeared in court April 6th in Tennessee. Some of them appeared in Texas. Some of them appeared in Tennessee and Memphis. Memphis is where they're from. All right. So prosecutors presented the government evidence, which is victim statement, Gucci Mane's initial report to Dallas PD the night of the alleged incident. And defense attorney Arthur Horn argued that the case had major weakness and that Big 30 was at the studio simply to record music, not to commit a crime. The judge found probable cause, but ruled that Big 30 was not a high enough flight risk or danger to justify full detention. So bond was granted at $100K secured bond, and he only had to pay $10K cash deposit. And he also has strict conditions. All right, home incarceration, house arrest, all right, electronic location monitoring, which is the ankle bracelet, no contact with the victims or co-defendants, supervision and random pharmaceutical testing, and allowed to continue working. So he's allowed to continue working because, you know, he's a recording artist. I haven't heard of him until this case came about. Has anybody heard of Big 30 before this? I've never heard of him, right? You know, it's a lot of people that got good music that we never hear of until it's some debauchery going on. So Big 30's lawyer, Arthur Horn, spoke to media right after the hearing. It is not our belief that Big 30 drove to Dallas to meet with Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty to commit a robbery and kidnapping. He was there to record music. He had recorded music prior to the incident. Horn also dropped the biggest bombshell of the entire case so far. Hey, senorita. Thank you, senorita. Everybody get your orange heart. Everybody get your orange heart and help me get the guilt gallery. All right. We got the handheld hearts. All right. So Horn also dropped the biggest bombshell. All right. Thank you, Flower Power. That Gucci Mane has made it clear that he will not cooperate or testify further with the feds. So that's what Big 30's lawyer said. And thus is why Gucci Mane did not talk to the feds thus far. So now how does Mr. Horn, who is Big 30's lawyer, know that Gucci Mane will not cooperate with the feds? Because he probably spoke to him, alleged. So if Gucci Mane does not cooperate with the feds, then their case is going to be weak as FCs, right? Gucci Mane is going to continue, thank you, Zoe, to collect on Pooh Shiesty's music while he's in jail again. Now, I'm sure he had talks with Gucci Mane, right? See, this is what Pooh Shiesty needs. Pooh Shiesty needed a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, a manager or experienced person in the industry, right? What's up? What's up, Pank? Thank you for the rose up. Thank you so much. Hey, Charlene. Hey, everybody. He needed an experienced manager to go in and talk to Gucci Mane, right? Now, Gucci Mane is locking jaws on this contract because he struck gold, because you have an artist who just signed the contract, who is, the contract is more in favor of 1017 Records. And once again, Pooh Shiesty is allegedly in jail, and Gucci Mane is collecting still on his music. And he is getting a big bag off of Pooh Shiesty again. If Pooh Shiesty, needed to hire a manager, he needed to seek out a manager who is good in business management. In other words, I would have got a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, as a manager. What's up, Nonya? Okay, now I'm talking to you as a person who knows the business, who worked for a label, who studies the business as an independent artist. Okay, Pooh Shiesty, what you needed to do was you needed to hire a business manager, lawyer manager. That's a lawyer. There's lawyers out here that do management, right? And it's like built-in protection, right? And that lawyer / manager would have went and talked to Gucci Mane. Now, Gucci Mane probably wouldn't have budged. Gucci Mane wouldn't have budged because he's locking jaws on that contract. That contract is feeding his family. Thank you so much, Nanya. Thank you for joining the Fair Club for 300 days. Thank you. He's going to lock jaws on this contract again because it's feeding his family. He got a wife, he got kids, and Pooh Shiesty signed the contract that was unfavorable to him as an artist because he had no leverage. He didn't have a chance to renegotiate said contract when he got out, and he had all emotion in the world. He probably went to Gucci Mane, and Gucci Mane didn't budge. You don't go to Gucci Mane. You hire a lawyer / manager, right? There's entertainment lawyers that manage. They're called business managers. I had one. That's a lawyer that does management. It's built-in protection. Who could have went and sat down with Gucci Mane. Now, he might not have budged off of everything, but he might have budged on some stuff. And you needed to have said entertainment lawyer / manager concentrate on your publishing. Your publishing is where Gucci Mane is capitalizing off of. He's getting, I don't know how much of a publishing. Let's see. Let's see if I can. Okay, so I don't know exactly what's in these contracts. I would love to see, right? Now, artists, there is no excuse for you not to have it. And I'll tell you why. And the why is you have ChatGTP that you can pay $20 to get the upgraded version. Hey, Lizzie. Hey, Hancock. $20. You could upload the contract and it'll tell you everything that's in the contract. It will break down the contract in layman's term, and it'll tell you everything you need to negotiate. Okay, Bev, everything you need to negotiate to change. That's before you even get to a lawyer. So you got it good these days, and you don't even want to lift a finger to take your finger and press the chat GTP. Why? Because you're lazy, unknowledgeable, and you just want to be famous. And you're just thirsty to be seen and heard and put on a pedestal. And you're so thirsty that you don't mind being robbed until you're robbed, and then you mind being robbed. Right? Now, they're always going to have leverage, these labels. They're always going to have leverage. Always. Right? But you can go back and forth with the labels and get some of your leverage. Something. Right? So it's a shame that Pooh Shiesty is off to jail again. And Gucci Mane is going to collect on Pooh Shiesty's music, which is blowing up again because of this incident. So when these incidents happen like this, the artist gets into altercation, the artist gets into a pum, their music goes up. Their music goes up. So Pooh Shiesty is going to jail, and now his music is up again. And Gucci Mane put in the record, in the diss record, Chicago Loves You. Well, thank you, Sandra. I love Chicago too. Thank you so much. Gucci Mane put in the record, right? Let's see if we can pull up Gucci Mane's lyrics. Let's see. Pull up Gucci Mane's lyrics to his diss song. Okay, so let's see if we can pull up these lyrics. So in this record, Gucci Mane states, after all of that, you're still signed to 1017 Records. And I know that must be a frustrating thing for people, but the government says that they found no evidence of a contract being forced to be signed. Right? So the contract is private and sealed. Okay, there's no PDFs of the contracts. All right. Let's see. Did he have Pooh Shiesty signed a joint venture deal with Gucci Mane 1017 Records and Atlantic Records in April 2020. Now, joint venture deal probably meaning his father was running the label, so they probably called it a joint venture deal, but did not get a joint. This does not sound like a joint venture deal, because a joint venture deal is more of a partnership and not you as a straight artist. It was a standard artist label partnership, not a straight 360-degree deal, according to most reports, but it included distribution, marketing, and revenue splits through Atlantic. Right? So you got Gucci Mane's hands in your pocket. You got the label's hands in your pocket. Right? Then I'm sure the father's getting a cut, because he was working, Pooh Shiesty was working with the father before he got Gucci Mane. Right? So now Atlantic Records got their hand in Gucci Mane in 1017's pocket. So they're getting a cut. And then they want back all the recruitment of everything that Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty used, paid for, studio time, whatever it is, before you even see a dime. They run that paperwork by you. And they say, we need this back before you see a dime of any record sales or anything. Right? But Pooh Shiesty could have continued and made money off of his shows. I don't know if Gucci Mane is getting money off his shows. When you get money off of an artist's shows, hey, Pam, that's where the 360-degree deal comes in, is when you get money off of shows. 360 deal mean that the label collects off of everything that an artist does. See, back in the days, the label just got paid off of you as an artist, and they didn't get paid from your merchandise. They didn't get paid from your brand deals. They didn't get paid from your shows. They didn't get paid of your music being performed at shows. But now with the 360 deal, they wised up, was physical sales of CDs and vinyl, right? Hey, Shalea, they created the 360 deal to then collect across the board from the artist. So when you sell a hat, they get a percentage of that. When you sell a t-shirt, they get a percentage of that. When you go on tour, they get a percentage of that. When you get a licensing deal, meaning that they play your music in a commercial, they get a percentage of that. Artists have been getting robbed since the beginning of time. Sugar Hill Gang and Sugar Hill Records allegedly did the biggest robbation without a gun that you ever want to see known to man, and they're still collecting full scale on the hip, the hop, the hibbit, the hip hop. You don't stop. That record was one of the biggest records in hip hop, what started it all. And these artists that recorded it included Grandmaster Caz, who I personally know, who wrote one of their lyrics, didn't see a dime off of those lyrics. He had to fight for it, and he wound up getting something much, much later. So my question is, when are we going to decide to learn the business as music artists and stop being lazy and stop being thirsty for fame and know that this is the music business, the music biz-nie. It's not the music artist, it's the music business. But these artists refuse to get lawyers. They stay in awe. If a big artist came right now and said, "Oh, I want to sign you," then their head just becomes jelly and they're all in awe. Here's the contract, sign it. Oh, I don't want to sign that. I want to bring to the lawyer. I don't want you to take my publishing. Well, I'm big so-and-so. You either sign the contract or there's a line waiting around the corner and down the block for the next artist that want to sign with me. And that's how they get them. When are you going to get an offer that you say, no, that's okay, and you pass on it? But when you operate on thirst, right? Rapper is it is a dangerous job now. Being a rapper is a dangerous job if you don't know how to move. And a lot of these rappers got their foot still in the street. They got one foot in the business and they got one foot still in the street. Right? And they just don't know how to take their foot out of the streets and go. We got all this stuff that you can use. We got ChatGTP, we got Grok, we got YouTube videos, we got Google, we got all kinds of stuff, right? Promise real quick, it's related. Okay, Meds. Okay, we're going to let Meds up. You want to come up real quick, Meds?
Oh, hey, what's up? I know you've been talking about that Pooh Shiesty shit.
Yeah.
And you know what Posse was involved too? Yo, there's a song, I think it's called FFO. I wrote it down. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. But I wrote it down for you. But it was like, it's a Pooh Shiesty song. And he's like, he straight up says in his song, my daddy was my first Cody. I swear to God.
Was his first, was co-defendant?
Yeah, but he said my first Cody. And he's talking about his pops. He said my dad was my first Cody. And then this shit comes up. Like, that's hilarious.
So, yeah, so that means that he first got in trouble with his dad.
Yeah,
now he's his second Cody. Because they Codys again.
Oh, now Pops is out on bail. Where's he at?
Yeah, so the Pops did. So they give the Pops bail, but they transferred him to Texas, and they didn't let him out of Texas yet.
Yeah.
FDO is the song. Okay, Tiffany said FDO is the song.
Yeah, I just had to let you know before I forgot.
Yeah, I would play it, but we on the U to the Tubesy, and the U to the Tubesy. Yeah, we can't play.
I just want to let you know.
Hey, Charlene.
I gotta get it out of here. Thank you, though.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Meds. Everybody follow Meds. Follow Meds. So,
birthday out, yeah, it's gonna be wild for his ass.
Yeah. It's gonna be wild for him for the simple fact that the first go around when he went to jail, right? Before he went to jail, he just signed with Gucci Man, right? That record blew up. That first record that he had, the record he had with Lil Durk, he went to jail, and Gucci Man straight collected. The mother was calling him. You know what I'm saying? Now, Gucci Man on the record did say that he put something on Pooh Shiesty's books. So now we have conflicting reports because the mother was calling Gucci Man like he wasn't giving him nothing. But Gucci Man says that he put something on Pooh Shiesty's books. So we don't know who's telling the truth and who's lying. I personally don't believe that Gucci Man is going to cooperate in court. I personally believe that he is not going to cooperate, right? Because people keep calling him the R word, right? They keep calling him the R word, so Gucci Man is not going to cooperate. Pooh Shiesty might go back to jail for another year or so, and Gucci Man is going to collect on his money again. Full fold. So imagine being in jail again, a crash dummy. Yeah. Gucci Man has a song with Durk saying, watch what you say on the record, the feds be listening to the music. Yeah. Which brings me to, why do you think, so Gucci Man, I don't think that he's going to cooperate. I don't think he's going to go to trial unless they force him. Because I think that they can force you to go to court, can't they? Can't they force you to go to court, yo? Right? I don't think Gucci Man's going to cooperate. He's going to be a hostile witness. He gave that first initial report. That's going to jam him up. What's up, Christian? That's going to jam him up. He's not going to cooperate. But what Gucci Man did was testify on the record. Now, Gucci Man did that record for a reason. And what is that reason? The reason is the feds listen to everything. The feds got that record right now and is dissecting that record. Right? He made a statement. They're going to subpoena him in court. Right. Thank you, Trish. Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, I got forced to testify before we just pissed off the judge. See? So, Gucci Man, because he made an initial complaint to the Popo and the security called the Popo, they might summons him in, but I believe Gucci Man is going to be what we call a hostile witness. And that's a witness that's like Woody. They're going to put him on the stand and they're going to get absolutely nothing out of him. Woody did all his cooperating in the room, but when he got on the stand, right, he had I don't recall field day. I don't recall. But you told the feds that they made you sign this paperwork and they took the jury. I don't remember. I don't remember what I told the feds. So I believe that Pooh Shiesty is going to get some time only because he was around some stuff and he has an ankle monitor on, right? Gucci's wife wants them in prison. Oh, yeah. Did she say that? Did she say that? I don't know. Sometimes the internet says you say stuff that you didn't say. Right? Let's see. Did Gucci's, watch this, wife say she wanted them in prison. So let's see. Because sometimes the internet says you say things that you never said. The only time I heard that side speak out is when Gucci did that record. Now, I'm not going to play the record because I'm on Wide to the Tubesy. And you know, they'll give you a copy. But there's a reason why Gucci Mane made that record. Okay? He might not talk to the feds directly, but he's speaking to the feds on that record, right? So let's see if Gucci Mane's wife says something. So Gucci Mane, let's read the lyrics of Crash Dummy. Pooh Shiesty this. Let's go through the lyrics. So the song was done by Zaytoven. Okay? The song was done by Zaytoven. Right? And here are the lyrics. It's guap. Well, damn. Ninja hate to see you up. Brr. Huh. Okay? So here goes Gucci Mane's. I'm going to read the lyrics of his record, Crash Dummy. Tell the truth. You went out like a real crash dummy. And after all that, boy, you're still signed to me? Wow. Look at that. So that might mean that he might not never let Pooh Shiesty out of his contracts. And Pooh Shiesty is a good artist. He sounds like, to me, he sounds like Yo Gotti. Am I right or wrong? I mean, I know they're from the same place. I feel like he would have done better with Yo Gotti, but he said Yo Gotti wasn't checking for him. Gucci Mane was the only one checking for him. So he went with who was checking for him. Let's go through the lyrics. And after all that, boy, you still signed to me. I'm like Birdman and Ninja, this is my cash money. So Gucci Mane said, after all that, boy, you still signed to me. I'm like Birdman and Ninja, this is my cash money. What does that mean? That means that you going back to jail. I'm not letting you out your contract. And this is how I'm getting bread, Ninja. This is my cash money. And your fat A flunky, he a stone cold junkie. Talking about Big 30. Okay, that's lines to Big 30. You know, I got my bread up. I always keep my head up. I thought it was a business meeting, but it was a setup. F. I walk in the room, you could feel the pressure building. Ninjas dapped me up the whole time they was plotting against me. Okay, I'm reading the words to Crash Dummy on. Okay? Cash cow like apartment building. Yeah. He's getting, Gucci Mane is getting an astronomical amount of money from Pooh Shiesty's publishing alone. I already know it. As a person who studies the business, Pooh Shiesty's publishing, streaming is insane. And Gucci Mane is collective. Right? That's his property, Big Dad. That's what it is. It's his property. You know, I got my bread up. I always keep my head up. I thought it was a business meeting, but it was a setup. I walked in the room. You can feel the pressure building. Ninjas dapped me up the whole time they plotting against me. Raps don't even rhyme no more, do they? This don't even rhyme, y'all. Right? You ever thought about writing a rap record? You don't even have to rhyme no more, y'all. I don't take it personal. For me, it's only business. And I don't want to conversate if it ain't about millions. No. What don't unalive you will make you stronger. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Nah, my money keeps getting longer. Now these haters got amnesia. Go. You know, I gotta move tactical. Every move magical. And I'm from, thank you, Andrea, thank you. And I'm from East Atlanta, but the diamonds come from Africa. Wow. Yeah. They love you when you broke, but they hate you when you're winning. And when you take a loss, that's when the haters get to grinning. It's all on you. Can't be wearing no disguises. You played stupid games, then you win stupid prizes. Some people like to take a ninja's kindness for weakness. I pulled up on business, but y'all was on some weak shiznit. The artist and CEO, I wear a lot of hats. Wow. They smile on your face, then they stab you in the back. Damn. You learn from your daddy, so I guess that it's hereditary. I'm that same ninja that put money on your commissary. So they made it seem like he didn't put nothing on the books, right? So Gucci said that he put something on his books. Let's continue. A ninja set up the play like Suge Knight did with Dre. But I ain't Eazy-E. Ninjas, this ain't back in the day. Whoa, bars. Let's take that again. A ninja set up the play like Suge Knight did with Dre. But I ain't Eazy-E. Ninja, this ain't back in the day. This 1017, the label. I built this from the ground. And I'll be damned if I let a ninja take my down. All right? Follow me now. This is the lyrics from Crash Dummy. Pressure on my chest, but I still ain't pressed. Pen to the paper, but it's under duress. Wow. Take that again. Pen to the paper, but it's under duress. What is he talking about? They allege making him sign the papers to release him out the contract. He's saying it was under duress. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? Read between the lines. I don't settle for less. Step up to the plate, my ninja. Life is a test. Man, they on that broke and I'm a rich ass exec. The head ninja in charge. It's my name that's on the check. Gucci. Ninjas jealous of me. Dog, remind me of my ex. Another day, another dollar, on to the next. Whoa. Let's take that again. He said, ninjas jealous of me. Dog reminds me of my ex. Another day, another dollar, and it's on to the next. It's Guwap. Okay, so the chorus is, I done been betrayed, now my heart's turned cold. I done been betrayed, now my heart's turned cold. So he's saying he been betrayed and his heart is turning cold. And the outro is, it's Big Guwap, CEO, 1017 for life, Big Gucci. This is for all the crash dummies out there. I don't know what the F you thought. Still getting money. This ain't that. 1017 is Gucci. Brr, wop. And that's Gucci's. You could go and look at it on YouTube. I can't play it on here because I'm on Y to the Tubesy. But I want to read you the words, right? And those are the same words that the feds are going to be reading. The feds are going to be reading it. Wow. So let's see. So social media has unverified rumors. Keisha put in heavy pressure on Gucci to cooperate with the police and report the alleged January 10th incident. Some posts say that she told him she would leave him or that it would damage their brands if he stayed quiet. One viral clip statement that keeps getting shared claims she said something like, they robbed and beatified my baby right in front of me. Of course, I snitched. So, unverified rumors. Okay, there's nothing confirmed that she actually said that. There's no reports, there's no video of her actually saying that. Wow. All right, people. So let's move on to the war, which is having some devastating effects on civilians. All right. So we are going to go to this and we're going to see. It's Saturday. We're not going to stay on this long, but I do want to bring you some war updates because it's going crazy. Right. She said it. Okay. I got to look it up when I get off because I got to find it. Okay. Pam, if you got a link of her saying it, send me the link. Send me the link of her saying that out her mouth. I want to see that. All right, y'all. So let's get into the warrification going on. All right. Let's get into the warrification going on. Hold on, y'all. So I want to just I just want to bring this up and go over the war a little bit because, you know, we need to keep posted on this. We need to know what's going on because the war is going crazy. Other countries is getting involved, and it's just crazy. And we got to be prepared because it's only a matter of time, y'all. It's only a matter of time before they start doing stuff to us. I feel like Iran doesn't directly want to do stuff to us because they know that it's not us, right, that really, want this. It's him. It is him. All right? So we're going to put a picture up on the YouTube Tuesday because I need a new computer. Okay, hold on. And then we're going to talk about. Okay, hold on, y'all. So let's get into this. War updates. Let's listen.
Battery 70%. Connected to Missknockout.
Okay, so we're going to go through this a little bit. Okay, we're not going to spend the whole day on the war because it is Saturday and we do want to enjoy our life. Okay?
Battery 70%. Connected to.
All right, everybody come on in. Bless her 5 Missknockout so she won't be broken up. All right, so let's see.
I have been an immigrant rights advocate for decades. While fighting for my community, I was targeted by ICE. I called Congressman Dan Goldman for help.
All right, let's get through this.
I would not. Dan Goldman has been fighting for immigrants for years. In a quiet work to change lives. We need Dan Goldman in Congress. I'm Dan Goldman, and I approve this message.
All right, everybody. Let's get through this
ceasefire was announced. And the day the ceasefire was announced was actually the deadliest day of the war. 254 people were killed. and many of these bombs fell on civilian areas. It was
So this is
designed to provoke.
so I'm going to get this from the Iran side. Why? Because the thing that starts with a T, you can't believe nothing that comes out of his mouth. So we got to go to another country to get what's really happening. Hey, Jelly, we got to go to another country because the truth ain't in him. They're going to tell you how many people are really unalive, what's really going on, because the man that starts with a T he creates illusions, allegedly. And it's hard to listen to him and really say that's what's going on. So let's listen.
And it was very clear that Israel was trying to scuttle the pause in hostilities. So when a key ally of US is trying to scuttle the deal, when there is absolutely zero trust between the two sides, and there are two key points on which there is absolute no agreement, the Strait of Hormuz and Lebanon, I do not see how this ceasefire can hold.
Let's talk about how Lebanon factors in this ceasefire deal, because Iran says that Lebanon was part of the deal. Pakistan, the mediator, says that Lebanon was part of the deal, and yet the United States and Israel are backing out.
Well, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because yesterday we saw that there was a huge controversy regarding Pakistan PM's post on X, saying that he basically said that he was the author of the deal. But the point is that that particular post was sent to Shehbaz Sharif from Washington, D.C. It was quite clear. He initially, by mistake, posted the draft message which mentioned Pakistan PM's message on X, which clearly gives you the game. Now, many American media outlets have since pointed out that this, and including New York Times, have pointed out that this text was sent from Washington, D.C. to Islamabad. So, when Pakistan PM posts on X that ceasefire will include everything, including Lebanon, and when that post was sent to the Pakistan PM from Washington, D.C., it was quite clear that there was agreement, at least in the initial stages, that Lebanon is included in the ceasefire. Israel knew it. For Israel, the objective of the war is totally different from what American objective is. Right now, Trump wants to exit the war. Israel doesn't want him to exit. Clear divergence in objectives. So Israel pushed its luck. It went ahead and bombed Lebanon. And the interesting thing is, later in the evening, when Trump was asked by news agency PBS about Israel striking Lebanon, he conveniently threw Pakistan under the bus, saying that Lebanon was not part of the deal. It is a Hezbollah thing. It's a different skirmish. So once again, the reason why I come back to my earlier point, where ceasefire deal is probably chasing a mirage, because when one of the parties is not true to its own word, and America keeps on doing this, it bombed Iran in the middle of negotiations the first time when Oman was the mediator, and now this time it has threw Pakistan under the bus, who's trying to play the mediator.
So he's talking about, okay, these talks to come to a conclusion and a deal of a ceasefire of what happened on their side. Because on the T side, the truth ain't in them. We don't know what's going on. Okay, so we're listening to what their side is.
So I don't see how this thing is going to last.
So essentially, it's not just a fragile ceasefire, but the mediator itself is being questioned. There's a lack of trust. I mean, think of what Iran is thinking about the mediation skills of Pakistan, since the United States at one moment is perhaps, we're not sure, but at one moment reviewing and approving a post by the Pakistani Prime Minister, and then the next minute the Prime Minister loses the control of the entire situation when Lebanon is just eliminated from the deal. So it's very one-sided.
Yeah,
now tell me.
It's quite clear that Israel does not trust Pakistan as a mediator. And Israel's envoys all over the world are saying it publicly many times. In fact, he has come to the first post interview and he said the same thing. So Pakistan has no credibility as a mediator. The reason Pakistan wanted to be the mediator is existential. I've written about it in an earlier column. Pakistan fears being sucked into this war because the war is happening at its doorstep, and Iran has not sent missiles its way yet. So I think that is the space that Pakistan has been able to create for itself. But other than that, because of the security pact that it has with Saudi Arabia, and which Saudi Arabia can can ask Pakistan to act upon at any time. Pakistan fears being sucked into this conflict. So for Pakistan to act as a mediator in this war, to see to it that the war doesn't spread too far, was an existential issue. So it dived headlong into it. It walked the phones. And another thing which Pakistan has, it is a rentier state. So it can let itself be used. And I've used a very strong word in my article, and I see no reason why I shouldn't use it. It has let itself be used as a tissue paper by the US. A very unique role which no other country would have done that. Which is why Trump actually, if you there is an article in Financial Times which was published yesterday. The article fills in crucial information gaps. One of the things that we have come to know via that article is that Trump has been pushing Iran via Pakistan for a deal since March. And why Pakistan? Because Pakistan is a fellow Muslim country, and Iran sees Pakistan as a neutral entity till now. So Trump has been pushing Asim Munir and Shehbaz Sharif to talk to the Iranians and get them to the table. So there was visible pressure from Washington, D.C. on Pakistan. So even if it were wanted to stay out of this mess, it wouldn't have been able to. So it acted as a kind of pliant go-between, something of an honest broker kind of a role. And then, naturally Pakistan came into that role because of that reason. So the problem with this arrangement is that America's key ally Israel doesn't trust Pakistan. So that leaves Pakistan in a very precarious state. You are trying to play a host, and one of the key allies of one side does not trust you. And then eventually what happens is there is a trust deficit, which is why ultimately this, and I keep coming back to my earlier point, the ceasefire is not going to hold because the key fulcrums on which this entire thing rests, those are all suspect.
So right now in Islamabad, we're going to have the ceasefire talks, and Vice President J.D. Vance could be there for those talks. So we have Defense Minister Khwaja Asif calling Israel evil, right? And a curse for humanity at this point. Of course, he backtracked later. But why do you think he published such a post? It's kind of torpedoing the ceasefire talks that are taking place in his own country. What kind of pressure is Pakistan under when it comes to dealing with Israel or keeping Israel off the table?
So I'll answer this in two parts. The first thing is that I need to point out that the talks are probably not on. I say this because the American media is coming out with stories saying that an Iranian delegation has already reached Islamabad. At least two American media outlets, CNN and Wall Street Journal, have come out with it. But these are yesterday's news. What may have happened is that some security officials may have gone to Pakistan. But the fact remains that Iranian state-aligned media outlets are coming out with this news that no Iranian delegation has reached Islamabad, and they will not reach Islamabad until and unless explicitly Lebanon is included in the ceasefire deal. Something which Israel is not ready to do. Today, Netanyahu has come out with a statement saying that we are not going to stop bombing Lebanon. So it tells you that the ceasefire talks might not even begin. That is number one. Now let's come to the other point. Why did Pakistani defense minister put out such a post? Yeah. Now he's a Pakistani defense minister. He's not a troll or even an analyst.
Absolutely.
He tells you that this is Pakistani state talking. Why would they do that? My understanding of this situation is that Pakistan sees the daylight between US and Israel on Iran. There is a clear daylight between the objectives. As I already told you, Trump wants an exit. He has been desperate for exit for some time now. He does not want hostilities to continue because the gas prices are going up, oil is stopped, and that eventually will affect him in his midterm elections. So he wants it out quite clearly. So for Israel, any pause in hostility is a defeat because Iran's survival is a defeat for Israel. There's a clear binary here. Israel sees Iran as an entity which, if it survives, is an existential threat to itself. So Israel is not ready to let this pause in hostilities continue. So it will do everything in its power. But the point is, since Trump had a heavier hand in the equation between Netanyahu and Trump, and since their objectives have diverged, Pakistan sees an opportunity to widen that. This post was tweeted out. Khwaja Asif was probably already aware that he had to take it back at some point, but the internet never forgets. So it's out there. That narrative has already spread. Israel is furious, but at the same time, and this tells you the real leverage which
it's going to get crazier.
Right now Israel does not enjoy over Trump. if this was possible, then Israel would have impressed upon Trump to call off the talks. Because such a tweet where calls for basically genocide of Israel has gone out from the Pakistani defense minister. If Israel's leverage was that substantial over Trump, then the talks would have been called off. That has not happened. So which tells you that there is a clear difference between, as I see it, and Pakistan is trying to exploit that gap, which is why he's come out with that post.
So clearly vast differences in their strategic goals.
So not only is there a difference between US outcomes of all the key actors, they have completely different objectives. And it is only Pakistan who's running from door to door trying to fix everything up because it is existential for them.
Thank you, Mr. Srimoy.
Okay, so Pakistan is scared that they're going to be included in the war because they're right there. So that's why they're trying to be mediator or whatever. But this guy is saying that they have no experience being mediator. Okay, so let's dodge around and go to the latest doggone. What the? I tell you, boy, this thing is it's not going to stop no time soon. It is not going to stop no time soon. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's go to this real quick.
Iran's attacks on Lebanon have violated the conditional ceasefire with the U.S. Tehran is also accusing the U.S. of violating multiple clauses of the deal's framework. Local media is reporting Iran is considering pulling out of the agreement. Peace talks are set to begin in Pakistan tomorrow. And last night, President Trump had a new warning for Iran. In a social media post, the president announced all U.S. military assets will remain in the Middle East. If the terms of the ceasefire were not met, then, quote, the shooting starts. Vice President J.D. Vance told reporters the president has all the cards in this fight.
Where they were getting hammered, which has nothing to do with them, and which the United States never once said was part of the ceasefire. That's ultimately their choice. We think that would be dumb, but that's their choice.
Out is suspending White President Trump is aware of those reports, but said their ceasefire deal few vessels. March prices jumped at a 3.3% annual pace. That's almost 1% higher than in February.
Wow.
We have team coverage for you this morning. Elizabeth Palmer is in Tel Aviv with the latest on the fighting. Let's begin with CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Michael. We are just a day and a half into what's supposed to be a 2-week ceasefire, and already some very serious cracks are emerging. President Trump declared complete and total victory, and yet his key requirement
victory
through the crucial
and did nothing.
The firing has early. Kuwait and Iran all reported new strikes yesterday.
No
delayed communication among Iranian forces.
Iran would be wise to find a way to get the carrier pigeon to their troops out in remote locations to know not to shoot any longer.
An even bigger dispute erupted on.
Wow.
Overnight, the Israeli military said it killed the nephew of Hezbollah hours after the ceasefire went into a Lebanon. The White House disagreed.
I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise.
Iran responded by the one that matter passage of oil tankers through of
Strait of Hormuz.
Demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely.
Vice President Vance said officials in Pakistan weekend to try to hammer out a long-term, but already the battle lines are being drawn over Iran's nuclear program. Iran says it has the right to enrich uranium. Trump says there will be no enrichment.
Frankly, the president has all the
Democrats disagree.
The United States' diplomatic position and credibility in the world is dramatically worse because of this war.
So the ceasefire was already fragile, and now there is a new warning from federal officials. They say that Iran-linked cyber attacks are targeting U.S. energy and water systems with the goal of causing disruptive effects inside the United States. So here on the homeland, authorities are telling us that some hacks have already led to operational disruption and financial loss at specific facilities.
Well,
Michael.
And Nancy, I also want to ask about President Trump meeting with.
So these ceasefires, right, are not ceasing the fire. The wars continue. We're spending billions of dollars a day. The oil is going up. Gas is going up. And when will this stop? When will it stop? Right? So that's where we at with the war. It's like these ceasefires are never going to start ceasing. And we can never get a straight answer out of the man that starts with a T. And he's scrambling his words. He's talking out of context. All right. And they're pushing for his doctors to give him another alleged health cognitive test, in which it's not going. If it does happen, we ain't going to know the truth about it. They're not going to never tell us that man is incompetent for running this country. And yet he gets up there and he talks crazy, this crazy stuff he said on Truth Social on Easter day, talking crazy, blowing this up, blowing that up, annihilating all this on Easter, the day that is supposed to be, we're supposed to be celebrating and, focuses on Jesus and, godly things. And here he go. All right. So let's move on to let's go on to the story for you for today. And it's no other than Teddy Riley, who sat down with Cam Newton. Okay, it's a really good interview. All right. And let's listen to the story time for today. All right. So we're going to listen to Teddy Riley talk about everything from the beginning of his career. You know what I'm saying? From the rooter to the tutor. All right. And we're going to get into it. Okay. So hold on and let's get it up. So the Y to the Tuesday, you're going to see it still. But over here, we're going to watch it. Okay. So let's see. All right. So let's get into this story time. Everybody put hashtags story time. Teddy Riley. Now, if you don't know who Teddy Riley is, so Teddy Riley was in Guy.
Wives and Keith.
He wrote a lot of hits
just like
for Michael Jackson.
Feel like this music is you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's start from the beginning.
And that's the type of music that is.
Let's start from the beginning. It's Saturday. We want to lighten up the mood a little bit. All right, so we're going to go into the story time from Teddy Riley. Okay, so let's listen.
And I got my publishing deal. This is at 17. My first publishing deal, I think $500,000, and I was 17.
What was this?
So you get, it's 5-year contract, right?
Okay.
And you would get 100, a year. So I took that 100 and tried to give it to my mother and get her to quit her job. She said, nah, you got to get 10 more of these. So, okay, I'll be back.
Oh, wow. His mother said you got to get 10 more of them.
man. What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. Cam Newton, the son, Mr. Boogie Down, here with another episode of Funky Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, I promise, I really do promise to give good content for the masses. But ladies and gentlemen, I just promise to always keep it funky. Now, I would say my mama would appreciate this, but my mama was in church. But I'm going to tell you that my aunties and my uncles, they going to appreciate this one. Because my next guest, he's the innovator, or one of the innovators of the New Jack Swing, right? Grammy Award winner, numerous, and I mean numerous, Billboard #1 songs. He has over 1,000 songwriting credits, produced the King of Pop. That's Michael Jackson. The Boys. That's Whitney Houston. They're Best Rapper Alive. That's Jay-Z, and countless others. He discovered the genius Pharrell Williams, a son, a brother, a father, and now author. I present to some and introduce to others. The great Teddy Riley.
How you been, Ken?
How you doing?
Wonderful. Man, I can't complain.
Well, I could go so many different ways, so many different avenues, boulevards, streets, curbs. For you, being in the game for so long, what has been the thing that you kept trying to chase in music?
That's a good question.
I don't think I've been chasing anything. I've just been kind of guiding and leading, you know, more people to the water, you know, by mentoring and doing different things. That's the drive for me.
So I use that analogy because we're in Gen Z now, where many different generations, from millennials to baby boomers to what have you, being credited as the creator or creating a sound, New Jack Swing. Would you take responsibility for creating that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
What is that?
New Jack Swing is a movement. It wasn't just about the music. It's what you come with that music. So I always say you got to look like your music. We have created this genre to bring back the look, the gaiters, the boots, you know, and make it cool to put on colors. See, back in the day, we was just basic black, blue, white suit, you know, the Wall Street look. So now, when New Jack Swing hit the surface, it kind of changed all of that. You start seeing purple and reds and blues and pinks on guys, you know, so it kind of bring not just music, it brought fashion, it brought everything.
As you kind of look around in today's world, what reminds you from art, from artists, from people, from things that gives you that nostalgia of the early forms of New Jack Swing?
Boy,
I would say a lot of the artists that dress different, that have a different look, you know what I'm saying, and not afraid to come as you are, or however you want, what you feel, what you imagine. And that's what I feel like a lot of the artists today and the creators today, they're still doing New Jack Swing. Because it's all about integration and fusing. So when you fuse music together, that's New Jack Swing. No one's never done it before me.
What music genre specifically? I can kind of gauge my own, but from the...
Teddy Riley developed the New Jack Swing era. You know what I'm saying? The New Jack Swing, it was a certain style. Everybody started doing it. Bobby Brown's music was a heavy in that area of the New Jack Swing era.
Horse's Mouth from the creator. What music did you want to infuse, and examples that, okay, this was a melody from blah, then you get this or you get that? Like, how did that kind of come about?
Let's say No Diggity, Bill Withers, blues, Southern soul. Then you got New Jack Swing, which is a New York sound. It's just a sound that I started where everything was more of a energy, not more or less of a drive. This was a drive and an energy, so when people hear it, they're on the dance floor. Still today, the record is still out.
Right.
So that's
still relevant.
It's still relevant. A fuse of jazz, blues, and R&B. Then you got gospel. You could take any record. I did a record with the Wall group called He'll Make a Way. That's New Jack Swing. So you got young kids that's doing it, but they're not really coming to the source. They're trying to create themselves when there's a real art to it. It's not just something you just get out there and say, I'm going to do some music.
So Teddy Riley said that y'all are trying to do the New Jack Swing, kind of, sort of. He sees a couple people doing it, but you got to come to the source to get the source. Okay? You got to come to the source.
So make people drive or dance. So the records that we do and study with the frequencies will make people have the energy to dance.
Some would say, or I would give my own self the credit to say, it's a little bit of New Jack Swing in me. As you were describing certain things, like, yo, just feeling confident.
It's in your how you dress. You're not matching everything. Like,
but I will ask, as you were creating this new genre, or you're creating this newness in culture, what were some of the pushbacks that you may have had? And for me personally, whether it's the hats, whether it's the boots, whether it's the dress, whether it's the typing, whether it's the talking, whether it's the this, whether it's the that, I know I don't want to speak for me. I want to talk to you and ask, what were the challenges for you to make a way for a new, different demographic, so to speak?
I didn't have any, because when we came, it was new to everyone. You know, I can remember making my first R&B record with Keith Sweat. Frankie Crocker was the DJ. I don't know if you ever heard of Frankie Crocker, but he was one of our biggest DJs on WBLS New York, which is the first big station. Well, he was the guy that, you know, Hollywood, it doesn't matter. If he push a record or he say this record is the one, everybody go, you know, they buy it. Well, when Awana was on radio, you know, they had this moment where you have a slam it or jam it, right? You know what that means?
Slam is bad.
Yeah.
Jam is good.
Exactly. So Awana got slammed. Frankie Crocker put the record on. He said, I'm going to override everybody's opinion right now because this is the new wave. So that, if you want to say pushback, the slam it was the pushback, but Frankie Crocker broke that record. He was the first to put that record on radio.
As you observe music now, in this world that we live in 2026, there's been different creations, melodies, tempos, whatever. But what song that's out now that you would say fits in the New Jack Swing, or a reminder of it if it's not an actual song today?
That's a good question.
I would say Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Residual.
So do y'all think that so he said residual. So do you think Chris Brown sounds kind of like the New Jack Swing sound?
It's like a New Jack Swing ballad.
That's one of the ones for me.
Yeah.
Just because, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I just said.
So why I say that, if you listen to Let's Chill, if you listen to Tease Me Tonight, there's really no drums. It's just vibes and keys that is just like making you feel like this music is you. And that's the type of music that is to stay in power. You know what I'm saying? Light, no diggity. Residual will be around for a while.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you so much.
So that's what you call a classic.
Thank you.
I always have this question that I love asking producers, songwriters, or artists. Is creating a hit lucky, or is it actual talent and skill?
Well, I got to answer it a different way because I feel I never call my records a hit. Never call anything. I just say it's a good song. So when you have a good song, and I also say the spiritual timing that you put into that song gives it its life.
Wow.
I don't understand that.
Okay. We spent a lot of time on,
what's up,
again,
TikTok
no
mama?
diggity. Make it last forever.
Everybody's coming in. We're listening to Teddy Riley break down and chronicle his backstory and what he's doing now and all that good stuff. All right.
That's forever. It was just finished like that. It took the time and everything and the vibes to add on it to it that will resonate. You know what I'm saying? So the time you put into it and the more energy you put into it, it's the life that it'll have.
The time that you spent on No Diggity and Make It Last Forever, those songs would be around what tenure of time?
4, 5, 6 days. Then you gotta mix it. It gets mastered.
So it took him 4, 5, 6 days to make those records, and then he had to master it.
Try Airwick plugins and fragrances for the best value per day with up to 70 days of scent per refill.
Everybody come on in. What's up, Rap
When I started my record label, the business side of things, taxes, finances,
come on in.
definitely felt like
Hot topics on a
But just
Saturday.
because you start your own thing,
The
doesn't mean
weekend
you
is
have to
here.
figure it out
Everybody,
on your
I
own.
hope you enjoy
It's been
your
amazing
weekend.
to have a TurboTax expert to bounce ideas.
So let's wait for
Even
the
if I'm in the
commercials to
studio
run
alone
out.
at night,
Then we
I have
story
access
time
to
today
TurboTax.
is Teddy Riley.
I handle the music,
right?
They handle the
What's up, Jillian?
File your taxes with
Welcome.
confidence with TurboTax experts.
All right, y'all. So let's get back into it. Hold on.
If your booty looks
the
like this,
commercials on the
if
wine.
your belly looks like this,
Everybody
and your
tap a
arms
fire,
look like
everybody
this,
share a fire,
This
everybody
Monday,
like a
April
fire.
13th, we start Tai Chi Challenge.
Everybody join the super fans if
So
you can.
it's really not that. Like we spent 2 months
And
on
bless
it,
her
and
fire
it was
Missknockout so she won't be
and it was
broke.
only because Michael wanted it so perfect. You know what I mean? So he would go in and do 50 tracks.
Okay, so remember, he produced records for Michael Jackson too. So he's talking about Michael now.
Just vocals.
What's up,
Singing the
Cindy?
same thing. That's the time. Because he know when it's right, it's right. Today, and let me give you an example. So your comparison.
Let's go.
Today, producers only spend 5 minutes on a record. I mean, you know, exaggerating.
5 minutes.
But not as long as the time we have put into our records back then.
Wow.
But some would say technology has changed.
Technology.
For that to necessarily be the
That's
the
right.
reason.
Look, Teddy, you gotta account for that the technology has advanced. Now you got all this stuff. It's not like back in the days where you had like 48 tracks and a big board. Now, one of these young cats could go on the computer. You don't even need all that doggone studio stuff, and it could sound as good as if it was done in the studio. So
I remember watching a James Brown documentary.
Hey, what's up, Cindy?
And you hear
Where
the
you at?
old, things that he would kind of do. He would find his musicians.
Oh, wow.
First off, when you think about it, man, that sounds so cruel, but it's like, bro, I'm spending the money on the studio time. So if a drummer out of sync or a guitar player or pianist is out of sync, that's costing me money. And you only get one time or the time to make it right. So, there's different vantage points of how you look at it, but mastery comes in what that person may deem as it to be, okay, now it's ready.
Exactly.
But that's not to say, let's take, and I don't know this to be fact, this is just per, just giving an example. Right. Let's take residual. Like if he would have just said, baby, who, and then it's like, bro, that's a hit right there. But it may not have taken 4 days. It may not have taken a week. It may not have taken a month. It may have took a year, or it may have took a one-time blossom. How do you feel from that, where you may have had success with instant, like, okay, I know this one, or it may have been times where it's like, nah, I don't know.
Let's give you another example. Rump Shaker.
Rump Shaker.
Rump Shaker was 5 versions before the final.
Wow.
Versions as in
music and rap.
Okay.
We're listening to Teddy Riley
I didn't
interview.
like none of the rap.
Rest of the day, but ain't nothing else because the sun is
in the
the
beginning,
Cindy?
which is why now you hear the one with Pharrell.
Okay.
What's up, twin?
Pharrell wrote that for me. But it took me 5 versions to get to Pharrell to get what I know is perfect
Wow.
for the record. Not perfect.
So he said Rump Shaker check 1, 2, 2, Rump Shaker. You know the record Rump Shaker. It took him 5 versions before he got to Pharrell. Wow, Pharrell goes back kind of far, y'all.
But for that record.
So is there I guess the question that I'm asking, is there a right time?
No.
Okay.
Music has no time.
Music has no time.
Creativity has no time.
I'm talking about for creation, though.
Yeah, it could
So
be.
you could take 10 years to create a hit, right? You could take 10 years, put a song out, it's a smash hit. Do you then say, oh, wow, I did this song 10 years ago? Then everybody's going to be like, oh, it's dated. It's dated. But it's a hit. What makes a song dated? It's all confusing, right? It's confusing.
A day. That's not saying you ain't spent the time on it. I'm saying spiritual time. Meaning really putting in the work and getting it where it's supposed to. If it's ready tomorrow.
So give me an example of a
fast record.
A fast that it didn't take a lot for us to realize, okay, we got something.
Jack Swing. The actual track, the song, the rest of the fact. We did that real quick. We actually did that in a day. Mixed it, mastered it the next day. Did that one the fastest, and it's still going today.
As a creator of music, as a creator of sound, what are the 3 elements needed for what you've experienced to be a hit song?
Melody.
Okay.
Melody is king. Now words can come as long as it fits the curve of your melody. Music, it could be done either way. Depends on you could just have 808 and put some vocals, track of vocals, like take 6 type, and it'll go. You can put just 2 or 3 things and you're done. So sometimes you can overproduce. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it comes with all of that. You may overproduce or you may underproduce. But when do you know it's right? You have to take it further. Overproduce into someone to tell you, or you'll tell yourself, I'm doing too much. You pull some things back and you find that that's the sweet spot right there. Same way, if you're doing anything, you find the sweet spot in what you do in order to enjoy it.
So melody is one.
Melody is king. Lyrics. Hook must be catchy. Must be catchy. It doesn't have to do the same thing all the time.
Man, listen. Just got paid Friday night. It don't matter if you rich, poor.
Exactly.
Black, white, green, blue. From the USA, from Asia, Africa.
Yeah, that was a hit record.
South America. When you get paid,
you want to play that record.
Ain't a lot of people can tell me anything.
And it could be Tuesday.
You see what I'm saying? Like those type of things, lyrics does shit because it's the.
Thank you for the
28K,
y'all.
The conversation. Like, our lyrics are mostly about what we do, how we live, the conversations we have, the experience. Like, let's chill. All these are real, true records that I've been through.
One of the things that I read about you, growing up in Harlem, starting in church at 5, what was your introduction to music?
When I was picked up on the stage by Gladys Knight singing Neither One of Us at the age of 5.
Wow.
At the Apollo Theater. I went to go see her. In fact, I grew up around the corner from the Apollo.
Wow.
So the backyard of my elementary school, Harry and Tubman, PS 154, is the back stage of the Apollo.
Oh.
While the kids would play, I would go to that fence to see who's coming in.
Wow.
The backstage. I would see James Brown. I would see Luther Vandross. You know, after doing Showtime at the Apollo, Luther was in the competition. And he just got hurt and he didn't have to win. He got signed right away. So all that stuff, doing that, and then ending up playing in that building years later, 20 years later.
Wow.
It's what it is. You know,
I think what's so interesting, you know, as we talk about music and just this whole dynamic, and we talk about Harlem, like this has been the birthing ground of the Dapper Dans, the Puff Daddies, the Maces, and the list goes on. Obviously, you know, yourself. What is it about Harlem that gives this sense of blackness or this confidence that, you know, you just know when you see it?
I wouldn't per se it's Harlem. It's every inner city. You know, every inner city and every neighborhood have their own like spirit of energy. What makes it the South, the West, but New York and Harlem, I think it's more of people just love the camaraderie and the excitement of New York. We love it ourselves, but we celebrate it. We celebrate like where we come from. That's why Jay-Z is, you know, the #1 top rapper, you know what I'm saying? Or one of them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that truly rep their hood shows
What's up, Marty?
what it's like to be in your
Come
hood.
on in. We're listening to
You know what I'm
Teddy
saying?
Riley,
Like,
y'all.
I want to know what
Story
it's like to
time.
be in your hood. Because you'll know certainly from me.
For sure, for sure.
You know?
Man, it's so dope that you kind of, you know, mention that, the spirit of where you're from. Because we all are different. But it doesn't matter from New York to Texas to Miami to Florida to California. Everybody has their own microscopic kind of experience to, you know, when somebody say Atlanta,
yep,
you know, you got T.I., you got the Jeezy, you got the North with the Migos, you got 2 Chainz or College Park, where I'm from. You got so many different others. You got Lil Baby. It's so many, you know, that have their own kind of, you know, yeah, we're from the same place, but our experiences is different. And that's so important for us, you know, in our world to present that to the world. Like, this is who we are and where we came from.
That is true. Correct.
You started producing professionally as a team.
That's why what he just explained, that's why he said it represents every inner city, not just New York, you know. Every inner city got that, like, when you say ATL, when you say Florida, when you know, every hood got their little vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Cool Mo D
What's up, Big
and
Apple
Dougie
Vibes?
Fresh
What's
were
up
two
with
of
you?
the first big artists you worked with. How did that set the stage for your career?
Well, the show, which is a classic, you know, we actually did that in high school.
Okay, so this is called The Show. Remember that record? You know what I'm saying? With Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. Okay, this is the producer right here for all my YNs that don't know. All right. So this is the producer. This is why I'm showing this, because he got a lot of history and wrote a lot of records and hits that's classic to this day. So he's the one who did the classic record of Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, called The Show. Big record, right? This is why he got a publishing deal when he was 18.
Dougie and I, before working with Dougie, you know, I used to see him when I was in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to Harlem World. Harlem World is a real club.
Harlem Wood?
Harlem World.
Harlem.
Like what Diddy and everybody say. That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually spent time in that building. That building was a club, and it had all of my favorite rappers in that club.
So he's talking about, so this is before my time, but I it was explained to me by Greg Nice of Nice and Smooth, right? He was around my way one time. We was riding in the car, and he said, "Oh, that's the old world." And I said, "The world? What's that?" And then he said, "Yeah, it's an old club we used to go to, and that's where all the big rappers was in that club called the World." I never got, I wasn't in the city yet, so I never went to the World. But this is what he's talking about, the Club World, where all the rappers hang at. And then I'm gonna let him tell a story, but he got a studio like wound up right in that building as the World. So let's listen.
I don't know if you may know DJ Hollywood.
Hey, Lynn.
And
What's up?
Furious 5. These are all probably before your time.
It was.
So those were all the people that, you know, when I was in the streets, I would see. And Dougie and I, we actually met through a mutual friend, LaVeba. And when he introduced us, we didn't even know we went to the same school. We actually got kicked out of 2 different schools before getting to the last school, Dougie and I. So I think he got kicked out first and went to Park West and West Side High. And then I got kicked out, went to West Side High. He got kicked out of there, and I got kicked out because we were doing co-op. You know, you work 1 week, go to school the next week.
Y'all know about co-op, right?
I never wanted to work. I wanted to do music.
Braids.
So they kicked me out of there, and we wound up
because you wasn't working.
Yeah,
or you didn't have a quote unquote job.
I wanted to do music, so my mindset was, you know, I'll go to the last school. Let me go ahead and finish and get into my music. What kind of went a little different. Actually, when we did the show in high school, we performed it at his graduation because he was a grade higher than me. And when he left the school, you know, graduated, we performed the song, but after him graduating, I quit school. Because when I was working with him, I started working with Kumo D, and we got a big deal. I got a publishing deal. This is at 17. My first publishing deal was I think $500,000, you know.
500,000.
And I was 17.
$500,000? What was this?
So it's 5-year contract, right?
Okay.
And you would get 100, you know, a year. So I took that 100 and tried to give it to my mother and get her to quit her job. She said, nah, you got to get 10 more of these. I said, okay, I'll be back. So my hustling game and learning and knowing street smarts in the music industry, you always make money. You'll always survive. So it was a hustling game, like New York.
Well, Teddy, you need to teach these youngins how to survive, because all these youngins in the music business is broke, right? But he's a producer, a songwriter, and not just a rapper. What's up, Cha-Cha? So it's a little different from him. Let's listen.
Me and Dougie doing the show was the beginning of it all. And then came Kumo D after he was a part of this battle in Harlem World with Busy B. So it was like the mixtape, like this mixtape, if you had that battle, that was the first time like battle just went nuts. Then it went to Kumo D and LL with Mama Say Knock You Out. I did How You Like Me Now. And it just kept going back and forth.
How You Like Me
So
Now.
I was part of battles, you know, battle records. And
wow.
Then I had, you know, to have the show as still going. We put out what, 84?
84 what?
1984.
Oh,
was the
You
show.
said 84 what?
That's my question. I'm so intrigued because my question was about to be, when did you come into your first money? But we're talking about the 80s, early 80s, where you making 100 bands. In essence, however you want to look at it, $500,000, but you kind of brokered it off of $100,000 a year in a time where Black people wasn't making that type of money. But how you structured it in a sense, when you say I signed a publishing deal, right, to the person who may not understand music or to understand the music industry, what exactly does that publishing deal look like, and who did you sign to?
I did it with Zamba. I was with Zamba close to 30 years.
Wow.
So my first deal was that, right? And then when all the hits started coming in, it jumped up so far, you know what I'm saying? Like far. And
what's far?
Over 5 mil.
Woo!
A year, bro.
Yeah, that was my second publishing deal, because the first one is just went out. He just said, let's just make another deal. And this Clive Calder and Ann Carley, You know, he didn't know who I was when I was, but he loves music so much. But when we used to always go to London to cut the Kumo D records.
Okay.
And when one day I was in,
Come on in, everybody. I see
the
you,
guy
Gigi.
went to go eat some lunch, and I was making How You Like Me Now on the drum machine, just banging out. And I seen this shadow behind, and it was the CEO of Jive Records, Zamba. So he's sitting back there just. And he's just back there going. And then he came in the room. He didn't know who I was. And he said, you know, he called me LaVeba. Because LaVeba is the one who makes all the deals and everything. He was like the leader of, you know, making our deals where we getting treated fair and we getting big dollars.
See?
So LaVeba, he called me.
See, remember what I told you? That's what the Pooh Shiesty and the artists of today should have a LaVeba. See how he said that now Teddy Riley's deals and journey was structured different, like business deal, more into the business side. He's more into the business side. You know what I'm saying? That's why he ain't even making no records and he's still getting paid. His publishing bag is crazy. He's still getting publishing from all these records, right? Business, right? But he's a producer, not just an artist, right? But that's why I was saying that Pooh Shiesty and all these young cats, they need them a Labuba, who is a person who knows how to negotiate these deals and knows how to talk to the labels to get the most out of them so that you wouldn't get robbed all the way. You're going to always get robbed, but you don't want to get robbed all the way. You know what I'm saying? Let's listen.
LaVeba, because he thought LaVeba was the one who was making the beats.
Oh.
And I said, no, my name is Teddy. He said, Teddy who? I said, Teddy Riley. He said, Teddy Riley? I said, yeah. He said, so you make the beats? I said, yeah, I do. I make the beats. He stopped, went up to his office and called the New York office and said, do you guys know who Teddy Riley is? And he told me the story later. He said, I asked him, I said, do y'all know who Teddy Riley is? And it's like, yeah, he's one of the guys. Do y'all know what he do? He said, no. They didn't know that I was the guy making the beats.
Oh.
So,
but why didn't they know?
But
I want to know, why didn't they know that? Was Labuba telling them that he was making the beats? Now, see, what?
I got up to New York and they just offered me a deal. I didn't even have a lawyer.
Bro, you got my undivided. I'm a fly on the wall witnessing this historic moment.
You can seriously imagine and imagine the movie. I am a movie.
But why would y'all?
But not just me, Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
They definitely need to make a movie about Teddy Riley. Wouldn't you want to see it? Put a yes or no in the comments. Wouldn't you want to see a movie about Teddy Riley's life? And also it'll be a cautionary tale for people to make them want to learn the business more. Now you see how his journey is going different than these other people's journeys? Because he is on the business side. These young cats and these thirst buckets that just want record deals, they ain't on no business side. Yeah, I want a deal. And then boom, now they mad and they crying on the internet, getting robbed, going to jail, people collecting their money for them or for all your hard work. You sitting there writing, doing beats, making songs, and somebody collecting money off of your hard work is insane because you're too lazy and too much in main character zone to learn the business. Now watch how Teddy Riley's journey is different than everybody else's journey.
Kumo D, Dougie Fresh, we are a movie. We got to start. We would be the Crush Groove, the new millennium. Crush Groove meets New Jack City.
But explain this to me. Why would y'all have to go to London?
Well, the company wanted us out there, you know, because they wanted us to be in a place that was a focused place and we can have it every day.
Okay.
And they didn't
Was it
have,
for the
they didn't have a
resources?
studio. No, they owned the studios there, and they didn't have a battery in New York.
Okay.
So we would just go out there. I was going out there like 16 years old, just going out there making his beats, coming back, and they would pay us to come, give us per diem. Next thing you know, I get back, I'm in a meeting. Like, we want to give you your first publishing deal. So I said, cool, let's do it.
So as this is happening, right?
Teddy,
Because, like, I'm reminded of, you're saying this happening as a teenager. I remember when I was 15, 16 years old, that was the first time I ever been on a flight. My first time on a flight was not with my parents. It was because of my skill. We had like a local 707 tournament that was actually funded by the Atlanta Falcons. And I remember us being at a timeshare. I thought timeshare was like, we had real money.
Yeah, right.
We didn't, but
I had one.
You could tell me that. I had to leave our family vacation to go play football. And I'm thinking to myself, dang, like I can make it. But for you got passports at your age, you literally taking your skill and monetizing off of that. Did you know that this was possible while you were growing up in Harlem, in churches, and things like that?
No, not at all. I used to always, matter of fact, man, I didn't know what I was getting paid when I was working with the company before all of that. And when I got with Gene Griffin, I didn't know what I was making per track until one of his people opened my eyes to it all. I was making,
Okay, so now he getting ready to get into it. So even though he knows the business side, right? They was paying him upfront money. So you get $100,000 a year, right? 500,000, 100,000 for 5 years. Then you got a bigger publishing deal. But in all reality, they making mad more money than he is. So they paying him this 100,000 set fee to get all the beats out of him. Meanwhile, his publishing is out insane. And he's saying that he didn't even know how much money per beat he was making. So they always gonna get you. It's like it's like they get other people more than others. So yeah, he got too, but he ain't get got like Pooh Shiesty got, or like a Sugar Hill got. He got, but he got more money, but he still got.
$200,000 to $250,000 a song, but he was only giving me $10,000.
Oh.
Every time I did a remix or I did a song, that's all I got.
10 bands.
Yeah.
10 bands.
And he would get, astronaut. It would be nothing less than $100,000 just for a remix.
But you were only getting a flat fee of
$10,000.
Now, for recording artists, that's a reoccurring issue that you hear. Hey, I'm in a bad deal. But what would you say to artists, to songwriters, to producers, to anybody in music to be able to protect themselves on the business side of music rather than just being an artist oblivious to the business side of it?
Right.
I would say to them, find the right representation and vet them out. Of course, they vet you out. You got to vet them out. I mean, do some research on them to find out if they,
That's why I said Pooh Shiesty should seek out a manager, vet him, meaning that do your homework on him, because you need one of the best managers that know the business, that knows how to handle 1017 records, the best way to handle them. And he ain't do that. He rolling with his pops. You know what I'm saying?
The right person, the right fit for you. And do not rush it. Most times people rush into getting a deal. Like, oh, I'm going to get a car after this and I'm going to rush that too. But it doesn't pay. You got to start now when you're doing business, especially at young age. And some of these kids are really young, is they don't have the right representation or someone that they can truly trust. And I had none. And when I got them, you get robbed. You know, some of these attorneys have.
The attorneys know how to cook the books. You know, you got to be careful because you can also get somebody that you think is for you, and then they round up robbing them with you. They robbing, you know, you with them.
My mom sung in the choir. Okay. My uncle played guitar, and that's how I started, you know, wanting to learn guitar. The first instrument that I got was a guitar. My uncle, you know, was a part of just encouraging me to do it and keep going. He didn't know how to teach, but he showed me notes and chords and different things like that. And that's how I learned. And then I started taking it upon myself to teach myself. Same thing with piano. I think that being raised by great parents, for me, that's what kept me understanding that I would always go back to my mother, or I'll go back to someone that I trust. And that's what I'm saying to everybody. You know, if you got somebody you truly trust, that you confide in, doesn't have to be a family member, but someone that would truly have your best interest at heart.
Did you teach yourself the talk box?
Yes.
Because that was like the early auto-tune to music. And how did that come about?
Well, I used to always watch Peter Frampton and the great way.
So the talk box is that thing that they used to put the little straw in their mouth because it was an apparatus back in the days. Now it's called auto-tune and stuff like that. They can do it, right? But the closest thing to describe it is Zap, Computer Love. Remember the record Computer Love? Right? That's what he's talking about when he says the voice box. So Teddy Riley used the voice box a lot too. But now they got it built into the digital board on the computer, and it's called auto-tune.
Roger Troutman. Since I was a kid,
Angelina.
You know, and I always wanted to do that. You know, I wanted to play the talk box, so I didn't want to sing. You know, it's either vocoder or it's the talk box. It's two different things. And I wound up singing anyway, you know. But, you know, I do it as an entertainer. My style is sort of like Johnny Guitar Watson, you know, George Clinton. More like talk singing, like Morris Day. That's what truly
Morris
Day.
Oh.
I wanted that because it would be just an addition onto my creation. I'm doing EDM talk box album.
Oh.
You know,
really?
Don't have that just thought on that side because that's some big money over there. You know, when you're doing EDM and you're doing it with a talk, nobody's really done it with a talk box since Daft Punk.
That's so heavy. And when you talk about the real money,
what happened to Daft
Punk?
Punk?
My question, as you know, the rollout of music, right? This is a question that just popped up. What's the most lucrative genre of music right now today?
Hip hop.
Most, like, it pays the best.
I wouldn't say it pays the best. It just makes the most money. I don't know where the money goes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but explain that, because I think
now you see what he said. So hip hop makes the most money, right? But where does the money go? Because a lot of times it don't go in the artist's pocket, right? It goes into the higher ups. That's why he said you got to get somebody you trust, right? Because everybody knows how to cook those books. Everybody knows, and you can get an experienced manager, right? That you think that you can trust, but he'll be cooking the books on you. So that's a tough one. Hip hop is making all this money, but we don't own nothing. What's up, David?
People need to understand,
we don't own nothing.
Because that's surprising to me, because when you hear, we've had phases of hip hop when there was a time where hip hop's dead, and then all of a sudden it's too, aggressive. But for you to say it's the most lucrative, explain.
It used to be country, but hip hop have stood the test of time. It's been so much pushback.
What's up, David?
To where it made fans curious, even when it was.
We'll listen to Teddy Riley.
Then it got into it made the fans more curious. There's no other genre that fans are really curious about, because rap, hip hop is telling stories, and it's telling people's stories or giving you something that is not real. But all of it is very lucrative when it comes to, but I wouldn't say for a lot of the artists, because the streaming has changed everything.
Yeah.
Which it took a lot from us.
What's up,
as creators.
What's up?
As even when you own your masters, you know, streaming is not going to pay you much. That's why.
So not even the labels are making a lot of money, right? But the streamers, Spotify, Tidal, you know what I'm saying? That's who's getting the real money right now. The streaming services. Why? Because there's no physical vinyl. There's no physical record. There's no CDs. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, oh, bring a flash drive. I was like, flash drive? Right? There's no more flash drives. I got to the venue when I performed this weekend. I got to the venue. The DJ was like, no, email it to me. I already knew that. There's no more flash drives. There's no more CDs. There's no vinyl. And there's not even, like I said, no more flash drives. Everything is digital. It's easier for me to take my phone and email my record, and then he download it on his side. Boom. Done. Right? But because there's no physical form of music anymore to sell, CDs, vinyls, tapes, right? The streaming services is getting the majority of the money, right? And the record labels suck up a lot of the money. And then when you get back down to the artist who's doing most of the work, they get the least amount of money because they got the least amount of knowledge on how to collect the most money out of whatever they're doing because they're so thirsty. Oh, Atlantic Records. Oh, bing. Okay, you're going to get a lawyer. Oh, it's Atlantic Records. What? Sometimes they tell you, oh, you got a lawyer? Okay, well, we ain't going to do the deal. They get you like that. Oh, if you want, you don't want to give up publishing? Okay, it's no, the deal is off the table. And then you're like, okay. They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
A lot of people now are turning their backs on it. And when you have the actual creators turning their back on it, what are the record companies going to do? They're going to follow. So now, you know, people like Jimmy Iovine said streaming is on its last leg. I believe as well. Because how long are we going to take being underpaid when we were making more? We were making so much more back before the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. When you see the streaming platform take its own life of its own, what would you say to prevent that from happening if you had a say-so for artists to understand and to get?
I would say not put the records on the DSPs.
DSPs are
iTunes, Spotify, Rep City, any of those.
Don't do that.
Don't.
So how you going to do?
From what I'm hearing, you still want cassettes, CD players.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So if you don't put it on the distribution services, then as an unknown artist, how would you then sell records? Because the known artists are becoming independents and they're having a hard time finding their way in being independent because now you got to do everything. You're the promotions team. You're the this, you're that. You're everything. Before the label, they had departments that did whatever. But he's saying, don't put it on the streaming services. What part of it? Let me listen. Let's listen.
Make your website. You can do direct to consumer.
Oh.
They can go right there. You can just get a commerce or a sort of partner that will help you stream your sales straight to you.
But how would that be accessible to the person who may say, man, I don't know who Teddy Riley is. Let me go back to the number one. And I've seen this personally with prepping for this. There's a songwriters playlist. There's a producers playlist.
That's right.
if I did not have that where an iTunes, a Spotify to kind of gauge or assist me to know, dang, he was a part of this. Right? He wrote that. But instead of going to, because I'm a person who has a vinyl player. I think that's something that I genuinely love to do, from vintage clothing with thrift stores to going to buy actual vinyl. You don't necessarily know, and I found myself at a vinyl store seeing certain artists and going to a streaming platform to say, oh, okay, like I want that. Like that's a collector's item for me. How would it be accessible for a normal fan to get put on or re-put on to, let's say, your music or your catalog?
I do a lot to keep my catalog relevant, meaning performing it. We do a lot of licensing of the catalog, and pretty much about to do New Jack Swing Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and if we go into 4. This is the way we can actually give our catalog, our creativity more legs. So re-release them.
Re-release them.
Repackage them and do a greatest hits. You have new songs, and then you put the classics on there. So it's ways to do it. And then now it's not a lot, since the business have changed. It's not a lot to actually buy spots to do your own, infomercial, making of. A lot of people just not have tapped into it because the distraction of IG and all of these, and then you have everybody's so easy with Spotify and you could do that for the playlist, but I wouldn't sell it there.
So my question is this, and this is me playing devil's advocate, right? So many times on social media platforms, let's take Snapchat, let's take Instagram, let's take Facebook, let's take TikTok, whatever. To make a video more impactful, it is centered around a song, right? You don't think that if we went your way with just having, what did you label it? DSPs, right? That how would you now get compensated if I were to say, yo, I want to produce a feel-good Friday vibe on Instagram with using your song? How would you get compensated for it?
So you can actually stop that now. And you can stop it through Instagram. You can stop it through Facebook. Pretty much you have to contact and put them on notice. You now own your catalog and this record.
So this is why I can't play the record, Gucci's Man's record on the Wide to the Tubesy, right? You go to Instagram, you're playing songs, Instagram sends you a notice. That's because all these record labels and all these individual people, right, that own their catalog are now telling Instagram, no, I don't want my music played by this person because they don't own the rights to it. Now, for me, I feel like it's more promotions when you're playing the record on Facebook, YouTube, Tubesy, or whatever, right? And so I would think that you would let the record play because you get more promotions. But they're saying, the artist is saying, and the labels are saying, we want to get paid when you play that record because you're getting paid every time somebody streams and clicks your site. So we want to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Spotify is getting paid out the yin-yang. Every time somebody streams the record, download it. They're getting a percentage and they're getting paid. That's why the labels are losing money, right? But direct sell to the consumer is the smartest thing. As a matter of fact, I'm setting up my website right now. I'm going to attach my record to it and then do direct sales from me to the consumer, 99 cents for the single. Boom, right? You have 100,000 people that buy your record. That's $100,000 that you made yourself, and you cut out the middleman, which is the streaming platform. But see, everybody can't do that, Teddy Riley, because everybody ain't Teddy Riley. You might have Bobo and them from 2F. Nobody don't know them. And if nobody don't know where to come get your record, then you ain't going to sell it. So now you got to do promotions, right? But Teddy Riley is saying, don't put it on the, wow, that's deep.
You know,
don't put it on the Spotify.
You have to get permission to play this.
Still devil's advocate. You wouldn't want a fan to play your music because of the exposure that will come from it, or how will a fan kind of have that kind of interaction? You see what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I like that song. You know what I'm saying? Amongst other songs, but you're not allowing that to happen because the compensation isn't there.
No, it would be allowed. They just would have to, if they're getting paid from it, shouldn't we get paid from it as well?
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's the only way that, you know, it would be, you know, they can't use it. Because any other way, some people would say, I'm using this original record, and they can grab it from, I guess, what's it called? You could grab it from the archives of all of the records that have been posted on it, and you can use it. Because that now have been connected with the labels and able to actually, you know, collect from it.
Yeah. So I want the viewer to hear this. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, SWV, which is short for Sisters with Voices, Janet Jackson, Jay-Z, Foxy Brown, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Lady Gaga, Keith Sweat, Heavy D, Maya, Joe, and the list goes on. What's the common denominator to the greatness in the artists that you've worked with before?
Common denominator.
And those are all artists that you've worked with.
Wow.
For the viewer to understand.
The production. And why I say the production is that's where we all come together. Arranging and finding the right thing that fits the actual artist. So it would be the production. It would be, you know, the start of the creation where we all come together. Other than that, everybody that you name, you know, are incredible artists. You know, I never had any pushbacks or anything that would hinder us from finishing or getting this creativity to the finish line.
Do most artists or artists come to you with an already kind of, this is what I want, or is it a collaborative effort, or how does working with a Whitney Houston,
Cam look like he got so many questions we can't think of them all.
Music greatness, the Mount Rushmore, like how do they come to you, or
Cam
how
got a lot
does
of
that
questions.
session work?
Well, if you say Michael, we collectively come together, but on the Dangerous album, particularly, he really trusts me with decisions as far as how the music should go, how the vocals and everything should gel. With the creative department,
What's up, Patty?
All through, as far as I was all about that album. And Whitney Houston, when she came and did We Have Something in Common.
We got something in common.
She pretty much, we did it together, but we already had that melody and everything for her. All she did was came in and just put her twist on it.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, sometimes it's not what they want, it's what they trust the producer to actually give to them or get them to.
So you work closely with Michael Jackson on his 8th studio album, Dangerous. Now, some would think, why then and now? But how did you first start working with him, and what was that experience like in the studio?
When I started working with Michael, it was after him listening to the demos and, you know, the tracks that I had made. First track I made for him was Remember the Time.
Wow. Me did Remember the Time, y'all.
The actual
Remember with Eddie Murphy in the video?
But I did a bunch of tracks. And
when you say a bunch, what's
Yeah, I'd say maybe over 20.
Okay.
And, just putting ideas together so that I'm not walking in empty-handed, It took me 2 weeks to get to him because I told him, I said, I got to prepare for you. You're the greatest artist of all times.
Right.
The king of pop. But I didn't come to him giving him pop music.
Jillian.
I came to him giving him R&B.
Yeah.
And I'm the first, to do that, is bring someone who's already been all the way in pop and rock.
Yeah.
Who came from R&B. He went into pop and rock. And then I brought him back to R&B.
Brought him back to R&B.
Remember the Time is one of the biggest R&B songs. That's, you're talking about over 5 billion instances.
Do you think he would have the same impact or greater or less being in this day and age if Michael Jackson just burst on the scenes in 2020 or during this day and age of how we consume music? Or was it peak, or is it perfect timing in the right place at the right time where his stardom just exploded in that type of sense?
I think so. In fact, I know so.
He will be more
powerful, impactful. And let me tell you something about Michael. One thing he knows is marketing and how to be relevant without trying.
Explain.
When Thriller came out, how big was it to you? Oh, you were young then.
No, I was really young.
Okay.
But Michael Jackson was him. What was the documentary? This was showing him falling out, crying.
Oh, you're talking about it's an early one.
They veered off.
Bro, he had the soldiers and everybody.
It just embodied.
I don't think it was Victory. It was
embodied.
Moonwalker or one.
It was.
Yeah.
What was it? Moonwalker.
There it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I saw Moonwalker, and instantly I was just like, "Yo, who is this?" Because the way people responded to him as a person and as a superstar was something that I just couldn't grasp, not just as my age, but just as a human. It's like, why are people crying? They were falling out. And shares
still would today. You know why I say that? Look at this movie that's coming. The movie that's coming is already looking like it's gonna be about 2-3 billion people to go see that. A brother is not here, still relevant, and his music is relevant, and his films.
Wow.
That tells you right there, he could still do it. Just imagine if he was here, it would probably be double or triple times.
But explain to me,
a
fan of just what he stood for, his music that he created along with, others. What was it like about Michael Jackson that made him the greatest artist ever?
His messages. His messages to us. See, a lot of people knew his messages was telling us something. So it's not just the message, it's the impact with the message. He had impact. He had spirit. He had people who truly followed him. He's a God. And right now, they're following him.
Like you said, his biopic is coming out next month. It's expected to be the biggest biopic of all time.
Well, that biopic, and we're going to go over it another time, right, is getting a lot of pushback. Thank you, Tiffany. A lot of pushback. They had to take the allegations out of there about the Chillins. All right. They had to take that out there. All right. The estate had to pay $15 million to take out the abuse allegations out of it. right? So there's a lot of stuff going on. The movie was supposed to come out last year. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. Right? But there's a lot of stuff going on with that Michael Jackson movie. There's a lot of stuff. For me, right? And his nephew is playing Michael. For me, they put too much makeup on him. They put so much makeup on Michael when he was in that mid-age. Like, he didn't need that much makeup on him. It just didn't look right. Thank you, Tiffany. Like, Michael wore a lot of makeup, but the way they put the makeup on that boy, it made him look like it was like he looked like a little mummy. I think they I don't know. Sometimes he looked like Michael, and sometimes he just looked like, a doll, a plastic doll or something. But let's listen.
His nephew, Jafar, is playing him. Yeah, that's Jermaine's son, his brother.
Uh-huh.
From what you know of Michael and your friendship, what do you hope the movie entail?
Oh, it's going to tell the truth. It's going to tell you exactly who Michael is. I think this is just the first part. I think they're going to come with, they have to get through Dangerous and Invincible if they haven't on this one. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet. I'm supposed to go to the premiere, but I think it's going to do very well because of his following was off the charts.
Do you know if you're going to be portrayed in it?
No, I'm not. I got word that this is only up right before Dangerous.
Okay.
Right before Dangerous.
So, as you see people that you work with now, like they're telling a story, right, of the person that you knew. I only can imagine what would be disheartening for me to have a depiction of a person that may be displayed, may not be displayed that time. Well, why did they, talk about this, or why did they talk about that? Like, do you have any type of excitement as you get prepared to watch it?
I do, because most of the things I know, but I'm excited to see Jafar, his nephew, who has his voice. He truly has Michael's texture.
Yeah.
As a vocalist.
Yeah.
And he's a bad boy, I just think that this here really brought him out of his shell because he was very shy too, like Michael. And I think he followed the formula. Was, Michael always say, and kind of taught me as well, he would always say, if you're trying to go out there shy, you're not going to make it.
Mm.
He said, don't be yourself. Be your idols.
Wow.
And you'll find yourself showing off for you. Because you're an audience.
For sure.
Yeah.
I hear a lot, but was Michael Jackson truly the perfectionist as people described him to be?
Yes.
Oh,
Low life.
So look,
Like low life.
he asked about the studio. I wanted to know what he was like in the studio. They came through and got him off, veered off a topic. Veered off. All right, y'all. So look, this goes on for about 2 hours. We're not going to get through it all today. All right, we're not going to get through it all today. Everybody, I don't know if I'm going to come back tonight. I might. It's kind of early. I came on early today. All right. I don't know. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to come back on tonight. But we're going to try to get through as much as we can of Teddy Riley, and then we're going to hit it tomorrow. But I'm going to try to come back on tonight. It is Saturday. Thank you, Tiffany, for the masquerade. Thank you. And it is Saturday because the U to the Tubesy is going on 3 hours, right? So we don't want to go that long with the U to the Tubesy. All right. So we're gonna end the U to the Tubesy now. All right. But I don't know if I'm gonna come back on tonight. I'm going to try to come back on. If I don't come back on, I will be back on early tomorrow. And this week, I'll be on early. I want to try to come on twice a day going forward. I just had to get some stuff out of the way. But I do want to come on in the morning and then in the early afternoon. You know what I'm saying? And be done by like 8 o'clock or so on. Something like that eventually. It's a lot, but I want to do it to build up momentum again. All right. And we'll try to come back tonight. I'm going to try to come back tonight. I got to go do a couple of things. If I don't come back tonight, all right, enjoy your Saturday. It's a pretty sunny day. I enjoyed you. Thank you so much. Yes, it's a pretty halfway kind of sunny day in the NYC. Still a little nippy. All right. But I do got a couple of things I got to do. And then I'm gonna try to come back. Don't quote me or promise. I don't want to promise, but I do want to try to come back tonight. All right. If I don't come back, I'll be on early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we'll go through a lot of small hot topics, like not the war, not Pooh Shiesty and this and that. We're gonna go through hot topics that are popular, right? But we're overlooking because we're overshadowed by the war and by this and Diddy. We went over that whole thing the other day. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you. Yeah, it's 84 in South Carolina. Wow. 84. Wow. Alexa, what's the weather in New York?
Right now in New York, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's 60
with clear
degrees.
skies and sun. Throughout the day, you can expect more of the same, with a high of 64 degrees and a low of 42 degrees.
Now, 60 degrees is a little warm. It's getting a little warm for New York. You know what I'm saying? It's a little warm for New York, but it's not, it's not summertime. It's not summertime, but it's a little warm. All right. Yes, I wish I didn't have a couple of things I have to do. And I will stay on longer. I do want to try to come back, but don't quote me if I don't come back. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Missknockout Show. We'll continue. The Teddy Riley interview is really, really long. We'll try to continue that another time. All right. So I will try to come back tonight. If I don't come back, I'll be back tomorrow morning. And we got a lot of additional hot topics to go through. A lot of little stories that I found that's going on, like the girl who got unalived, who owned the what is her name? Did y'all hear about this girl? What is her name? Let's see. She owns a little. Let's see. She was unalived in a car. Let's see. Oral arguments. Damn, I got a lot of notes. So it was a girl who was unalived in a car. Dick, what is her name? Okay, so the girl's name is Qualisha Barnes, also known, her stage name was Sadiddy, and she was 14 weeks pregnant when she was found unalived in the front seat of her luxury SUV, with police opening up a probe to find her unaliver. So real beautiful girl. All right, she was an artist. Her name was Sadiddy, and she's there with her new car and stuff. I don't know. You got to be really careful. You get onto these things and you got somebody that's jealous out there. Sometimes you don't even know that they exist. And then boom, you know what I'm saying? They catch you slipping. So the rapper's body was inside with multiple pum wounds. It happened in Fulton County. So that's the ATL. ATL is getting like the wild, wild west out there. What's my ATLians at? It's getting kind of wild out there. Wow. She was like executed, this girl. Right? So we'll go into a lot of different stories like that or whatever. I don't know if you'll like this. I thought you would like the Teddy Riley story time, but a lot of people start leaving. But, I kept on with it because We did start watching it, and it was kind of interesting. But a lot of the New Jacks, no pun intended, don't really know who Teddy Riley is. A lot of YNs don't know their history. A lot of YNs do not know their history in music, and they doggone surely, bites the New York hand that feeds them. Because if it wasn't for New York, nobody would be making money off of hip hop right now. And that's the actual fact. And I don't care how you slice that. Right? So it is what it is. I seen that story. She was pregnant. Yeah, she was pregnant. And they did her execution style, and they're looking for her unalivers now. But I got a feeling how this story is going to go. I don't know what she was into or whatever. What happened with Diddy's court case? And we talked about that the whole time I was on the other day. We went through the whole court case. We played the whole audio. Okay, what happened was they presented their appeal, right, based on the Mann Act, right? Yeah, that was yesterday. We didn't do that today. Okay, Diddy is a long, drawn out, maybe I'll go back into the case. When I come back on, maybe I'll go back over the case. But in a nutshell, they presented the appeal. They want to get, Diddy wants to get out of there. He wants to get out of there. They presented the appeal. All right, the appeal wasn't decided the same day. The judge got to go back, look at it, decide, or whatever. But they're saying that there is a chance that he might just get out of there because the prosecution brought their case, but the defense brought a good case on why he served his time. And then what they're saying is people who get convicted of the same thing that Diddy got convicted of, they'll do nowhere near the amount of time. And it's true. A lot of pimps get charged with what Diddy got charged, and they're in and out of jail in a week. The reason why Diddy is in jail and he got such a big sentence is because it went to the feds because of the RICO charge. But the RICO charge was dropped, but the case wasn't pulled out of Fed court. See, feds give you more time than state court. They have bigger cases, more time, right? What's up, host? Thank you. So because Diddy's case stayed in the feds court, he got more time on the Mann Act and the charges that he got than he would have if he was in state court. Because a lot of these pimps in Las Vegas and a lot of people get caught, the pimps and then the whole hoes, they in 2 days, a week, for the same thing that Diddy got charged. But people ain't looking at that. Just don't like Diddy. So they like, lock him up, keep him in there. They ain't looking at the laws. They're not looking at what's fair and what's not fair. They just want Diddy locked up because Diddy made so much money. And a lot of people will never in their life reach levels of Jay-Z, Diddy. Yes, yeah, we're not saying that they ain't doing nothing wrong. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is they're making it easy to get taken down because, Diddy was doing some stuff. Jay-Z is not making it easy for y'all to take him down because Jay-Z ain't doing all this and all that. No matter how much y'all try to make Jay-Z out to be doing this and doing that, and Jay-Z's evil, Jay-Z ain't doing nothing. You're going to have a hard time taking Jay-Z down. They are trying. They're digging stuff up on Jay-Z right now because we live in a society, and I'm not saying people ain't doing nothing wrong, but we live in a society that don't like to see people win on a certain level. They want to take them down. Because if you have an artist that wants to be Jay-Z right now, they would have had to start 40 years ago. These artists of today can't even get a record that they can eat off of. let alone become who Jay-Z and Diddy became. You can't even get past getting paid off your record deal. Jay-Z was president of Def Jam. He was A&R president. He's a businessman. But they want to take Jay-Z down so bad. Jay-Z's this, Jay-Z. Jay-Z ain't doing a mother-upping thing. Jay-Z made too much money. Diddy made too much money. The difference is Diddy made it easier for y'all to take him down because he was actually doing some things. Jay-Z is making it hard for y'all to take him down because y'all got to really dig and probe to find something that Jay-Z is doing. And that Kathy, whatever the girls, that's BS. Blue is not her daughter. Jay-Z didn't have her unalive. It's just all made up conspiracy crap because people don't like Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Was the girl maybe seeing Jay-Z? She probably was seeing Jay-Z. Do I believe that Jay-Z had her unalive? I don't believe it. I don't believe he had her unalive. It's not that serious. But this is the world we live in. If you tell a lie often enough, it becomes a truth. So that Kathy White lie is being told. And to some people, it's the truth. You let a guy like Jay-Z become a millionaire, came from the ghetto, he's not trying to go back. Yeah, Jay-Z came from the hood, Marcy Projects. But Jay-Z did a lot of stuff along his grind and journey to become who he is. And I feel like society and people don't like that because they know that they'll 9 times out of 10, you'll never be a Jay-Z. None of these artists that we see out, you could go through the whole thing. Which one of them will be a Diddy or Jay-Z? Barely none. They can't even get their publishing. They can't even get paid off their record deal, let alone become an executive. And you, in order to be a Jay-Z, Diddy, or any of these people, you have to know business. And a lot of these artists just know thirst. That's all they know is thirsty. Thirsty is their business. Thirsty. Jay-Z would have had to start like 30 years ago to be Jay-Z. You don't got that much time now. All these new artists will never be Jay-Z. That's why these new artists don't like Jay-Z. They call him old, this and that. But Jay-Z is on a level that they'll never see, and they're mad about that, and they want to take Jay-Z down. And watch and see. Y'all been trying to take Jay-Z down for the last 10 years. Jay-Z just wasn't doing the stuff that the other people was doing. That's why y'all can't find nothing. The girl came out and said that she lied. Y'all are still saying that she's telling the truth, even though she came out on her own mouth and said that she lied. Y'all are still saying that Jay-Z did something to that girl who's a woman now. And her own father said that he don't know what she's talking about. This is the first time he hearing about it. And y'all still trying to blame that on Jay-Z. Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Diddy, a different story because Diddy was doing a lot of things. Jay-Z, I don't believe he's doing a lot of things. Are we human? Do we do something in our life? Yeah, you human. As a human, go roll the Rolodex back in your life. Roll the Rolodex back. You did something wrong in your life. You did. What's up, Tiffany? Thank you. All right, y'all. So we are going to run. Thank you for tuning in to the Missknockout Show. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to go now. You can watch the playback on the YouTube. All right. You can watch the playback back of the whole show. We did the whole show today. So you could watch it all back. All right. And we will, I will try to come back tonight, but I will not make any promises because if I don't come back, I don't want to get a pop-up. We'll try to come back. All right, so I'm trying to cut this down. This thing will not go. All right. All right, so everybody, I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to Missknockout Show on the Y to the Tuesday. Give a thumbs up so the video could go out, share it, watch the playback, comment, all right? And I will see you maybe tonight, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow, all right? I don't know who keeps ringing my bell, but I'll.
It's the Missknockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Missknockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Missknockout Show. Knockout Show. Hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with Missknockout. Let's go. Let's